Hello, hello. Oh, Twitch chat didn't connect. Hang on one sec. Let's see if that fixes it. Yes. Hey, Sinistel. Hey, VA Survivor. Welcome in, everybody. All right, so today, the goal is to get controller glyphs showing in the game. Instead of press A to jump, it would show a picture of the button that you're supposed to press. There are adjacent features like rebinding controls and saving to a file that we may also look into today. AABC. Yeah, so this is not something that is super appealing to me, I will say, the whole controller glyph thing. It's just a feature people expect, so we have to do it. Actually, we have to do it because Steam expects it as well. But it's not really fun to do, and there are a lot of gotchas with it. So, yeah, I will give a very quick example of this. Well, there it was at the bottom, I guess, but like this. This is the simplest thing. Press A to jump. This, it's not even the A button for me. It's the B button. So we need to figure out how to render this properly. And yeah, it's going to be annoying, I think. Hey, Blub. Now, I threw a very quick website online yesterday. This is it. There are some, it's like kind of faint, but there are some little pixel glitches in the background. And yeah, I mean, this is online. It works on mobile. It's literally just 3 links. And that's it. Eventually, it's going to look a little bit more like skeleseller.com. But even skeleseller.com, I mean, if you think of what are the main elements, it's a YouTube video and a Go Play on Steam link. And that's all we're going to need, really. I mean, yeah, there's not too much here. I should probably write a note. You know what we're going to do on Monday? Because this is driving me nuts. I want to burn through the to-do list. I feel like there's too much hanging over me. And tenants and journal. Okay, so one of the other stabilization tasks, I guess, is like add a copyright. We set up, well, we almost set up the domains. Make merch, I did. I gotta buy that at some point. Add a copyright to this. All right, let's copy paste all this stuff and let's figure out what is going on. And I gotta move this stuff somewhere else too. Let's just put this farther down the list for now. Tuesday. Okay. All right, so what do we got to do here? Make sure we satisfy what Steam would need to say we have perfect Steam Deck support. So somewhere on the Steamworks page, they mentioned this. We got to do a lot of like research at first and just figure out what's going on here. Then we can actually do the work. So if you go over to a Steam page and you look at, where is it? There's some like controller support section. Ah, here it is, controller support. Yeah. So in here, or to best describe this. Possible for player to launch, configure, play, and exit your game without access to a keyboard. To truthfully indicate it has full controller support, you need to be able to do the following. Everything with only a controller. Display the correct glyphs and icons on screen when prompting the user to press a specific button. Yeah, this we're not doing right now. Any prompts to enter text must open a virtual keyboard. Yeah, okay. And if your game supports multiplayer, that mode must work with multiple controllers. Oh, local multiplayer. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, so we need the glyphs part of this. Hey, Pickle. Hey, TJ. Paid on usage and not a subscription is a pain in the butt. Is it a pain for technical reasons or is it a pain for like marketing reasons? Because I think apps have really, really fierce competition and the user acquisition fee on these like in-app purchase games are crazy. It's like the average lifetime purchase amount for some players would be $18. So you can spend $10 acquiring a player and it still makes sense. Paying for technical reasons, okay. Yeah. So Steam controller support glyphs. They should have, so yeah, here it is probably. Enable full support. We define full support as the follows. Your game uses proper controller specific glyphs. Steam input configurator screen uses in-game actions that the player performs in your game instead of keys or buttons. Oh boy. You publish an official configuration for the controllers you support. Oh my God. Your game doesn't restrict the user's ability to customize their controls. It allows any mix of mouse, keyboard, or gamepad input simultaneously. When your game wants keyboard input, you use the API to automatically bring up the text entry UI. And your game has no launchers that require mouse or keyboard input. Start your game in full screen by default. Oh my God, there's so much. Didn't you do all that for Skeleseller? No, we never put controller glyphs in Skeleseller. So we allowed rebinding controls and everything, but we didn't do most of this stuff. All right, well, this is annoying. Requirements from Steam. So what have we got to do here? Controller specific glyphs. Yeah, I know about that. This we got to go figure out. And what else? You publish an official configuration. I don't even know where you do this. I'm gonna have to make a note about controller support. I should probably make an Obsidian note about controller support for Steam games. Game doesn't restrict the ability to customize our controls. Game wants keyboard input. You use it to bring up that. And your game has no launchers. Wait, there was something here that wasn't super clear to me. The thing about starting in full screen, right? Yeah. They recommend the following. Okay. Recommendation. Why is this not working? Not a requirement. Hey, David. Hey, Shoe Strikers. Fun stuff awaits. Well, the sort of fun thing about this task is going to be answering these questions. I think the implementation will not be very fun, but that is where we have AI to help at least. And I've got quite a lot of plan usage left as long as I don't reset in the next like 2 hours. I think it should be at like 61%. Yeah. 61%. So 61% on AI. Haven't done anything yet. All right, what else? We probably need to support keyboard glyphs too. We should show something based on what you pressed last. Maybe a good idea to tackle rebindable controls at the same time as this. Need a custom component for this since each canvas item can only have a single texture filter. Almost certainly need a string with the glyph placeholder for 2 reasons. Other languages may put the glyph in a different spot in the string. Will probably allow for customizing the controls, so we need to change the glyph based on which key is bound to what. Yeah. It'll probably be a flow container. 8 bits a byte. Thanks for the raid. And you've got 1 bit more than a byte in terms of number of viewers. 8 bits a byte. Hope the stream went well. Hope you're doing well. How is everything going? Let me mute this. There we go. Sunflowers everywhere. Oh, that's a clip. I want to see what the title of your last stream was. RPG V2. Oh, neat. Nice art. 6-month project. Stream 38. Oh, cool. Yeah. It looks like you're making progress. But yeah, how's it feel? Going well. Just worked on some quality of life updates on the 2D RPG. Cool, 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 cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see what this is all about. So I'll try to watch your video next time I get a chance. I want to see one of their VODs to see what this RPG is about. Yeah, here we are working on a game called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. And the main thing we're going to be doing today is adding controller glyphs to the game. So anytime it tells you to press a button, like these are just obviously buttons, so you don't need a controller glyph probably, but like down here at the bottom, LR change selection, X randomize color, like these all need to be changed. So yeah, I gotta do that. Is this why a lot of games on Steam don't show you what buttons to press? Because if you don't have anything that says press button, you don't have to display glyphs. No, I don't think so. I think it's just an annoying feature to do. I don't think they're trying to like bypass the rules. Yeah, I think it's just annoying to do. Because this is very related to rebinding controls, which is another thing that it's like, look, games shouldn't even really have to handle any of this, the rebinding controls at least. And if you're using Steam now, Steam handles it. You can say that on this controller, I want this button to do this and this button to do this. And yeah, the game doesn't need to code anything at that point. That's how it should be, because what you consider your controls to be should just be handled by a platform, I'd say. Now, with that said, Steam is not the only platform, so it's like, well, you have to do this, and we're going to release on itch as well, and probably, I mean, eventually like Nintendo Switch and stuff like that. How long have I used this style? I can't recall exactly how long. I want to say it's been like 4 years. When did I make this repo? I don't know how you figure out when you made a repo, because I forked this. I guess we could look at the history of this file, because I probably modified this, right? Yeah, update readme 2021. Yeah, so it's probably been about 5 years that I've been using this. Hey, Snickerdoodle. How much or what things do you do in Godot IDE versus code? I'm struggling to enjoy finding all the in-editor things in my workflow. Going between that and code. Initial commit. I mostly do things through code. The IDE, I think, is good for UI, animations, basically anything visual, anything very visual at least. Because even sometimes for animations, you're like, oh, I've got 40 enemies and they all have a walk animation and an idle animation. It's like, I'm not going to set up 40 different scenes. I'm going to do this through code and just be like, oh, point it at the walk animation, point at the idle animation. Here's the frame rate it should use. So yeah, I would say like small amounts of UI or animations, large amounts you probably want to do through code. Like an inventory screen, if you have 40 slots in it, same thing. You don't want to go put 40 different slots in the UI in the scene. You probably just want to add it through code. That way, if you ever want 41, you don't need to like lay everything out differently. Well, 41 would be weird because there's a very odd number there. All right, what else do we have here? Probably be a flow container, at least one rich text label. It'd be 2 if we put the glyph in the middle. And 1 texture rectangle. We could just use fonts and have button icons. But I don't like the idea of maintaining those. Yeah. Let's start a note about this. Somewhere here, I've got something about Steam. Where is it? Game development, Steam, Valve, Steam Cloud. Yeah, this. It's a regular odd number. It's strange. I know. It's strange for inventories, at least. I don't know if any game has ever had exactly 41 items you're allowed to hold. Hey, DevZone. Some might have wished a productive stream and relaxing weekend. Thank you very much. That is very kind of you. I hope you also have a relaxing weekend. All right, so let's write controller support. So overview, I guess we got a link to this. Steam input, getting started, general concepts. Or maybe we say this. What if I click next here? What happens? If your game has support for one or more PlayStation controller models listed below, it should generally be possible to use those devices to do everything in-game that can be done with Xbox controllers. In addition, you have to display the correct glyphs. I'm prompting the user to press a specific button. And then what's after this? That's it. It's just Xbox and PlayStation. So they don't specifically have something for their own Steam controller yet. Although maybe, I don't know, maybe it handles it better. It would work with just about any of 200 plus models of controllers, including future models. Truthfully say that has a support and need to do these things. Implement Steam input API actions and query the associated action origin. Automatically pause if controller is disconnected. Oh boy. Need to automatically pause the game if the controller is disconnected. And player must be able to remap buttons on the controller they're using through Steam Configurator. So Valve lays out quite a lot of requirements that you need to satisfy in order to claim that your game has full controller support. Is there a page with just all of these? I don't remember it mentioning the thing about pausing here. Oh, yeah, there it is. Mouse cursor should match the input device. All devices should work 100% of the time. Disconnected gamepad should pause the game. We probably got to indicate we have mouse support at some point. At least for navigating menus and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what we do about that. Maybe try to make sure mouse support works well enough where you would expect on the character customization screen. You can't change selection with the mouse. Maybe clicking the arrow would do it. Stuck in a game with 41 inventory slots. That's it. That's the game. We're just like, hey, look, you got 41 inventory slots. And people are like, that's so broken. How am I supposed to play this game? All right, so how do we link to this? This is in common use cases. Here we go. So then it must be under here. Yeah. All right, let's link to just the overall page. How about we start with that? In short, these things. On-screen icon should match the input device. Mouse cursor should match up. What do they mean about the mouse cursor thing? Oh, this sucks. This really sucks. I want to do this. Mouse. Cursor. Where do they mention the cursor? Here it is. Should go without saying that if a player is using gamepad, they don't want a mouse cursor in the middle of the screen, you know, just sitting there ruining their life. If they are using a mouse, then they probably want to see the mouse cursor. I see. Oh boy. Hide the cursor when only using a gamepad. Oh man, there's so much to do. There's so much to do. This is one of those cases though where like we'll spend whatever 6 hours doing this today, and hopefully we get about 80% of them done. And then the last 20%, I don't think it's like the Pareto principle exactly. I don't think it's gonna be super hard to do. It's just gonna be making sure that we've done them. So like this pause the game when the controller is disconnected, that's like 6 lines of code. That's not bad to do. It's just we gotta do it. All right, so what do we just read about? We need to hide the mouse cursor when you use the gamepad and show it when you jiggle the mouse. Best solution visually would be to query text server for the size or extent of the text, then figure out the size of the icon. That would be kind of interesting. I don't think we need this, but we do need to render the glyphs at different sizes. Make sure text in the platformer has a controller glyphs added. Farming game apparently mentions controls via the dialogue. Maybe harder to figure out how to set up. Oh man, do we do that? Do we mention buttons in here? What was I talking about here? The farming game mentions controls via the dialogue. I don't remember this. And here's a whole dialogue. I don't know. I don't think there's ever a button mentioned in here. I mean, the word button doesn't show up. Maybe press? No. Yeah, I don't think I actually did mention any buttons in here. Update. I don't think the thing about the farming game mentioning controls is true. Maybe have AI search the text and see if I'm wrong. But how would we do it through here if we were like, hey, press B to jump? We need some way. Yeah, we need some like special processor for dialogue here. Hey, hang on a second. I can't like fully see this. I got the gist of it. This does not count. Because you got 4 extra ones here. I mean, I guess you can't really store something there. Good job, though, ABC. Good job. Okay, so I already asked this thing about controller glyphs. Oh, you got it again, Footlong. I think you're permanently golden now. Unpin the codex chat about controller glyphs. All right, so what did we say here a while ago? Automatically detect active controller, provide a persistent override. Automatic Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo generic. Switch between keyboard, mouse, and controller prompts based on last meaningful input. Yeah, interesting. Last meaningful input. So it's not just like, did you move the mouse by a pixel? The last meaningful input is what we should base this on. So if the mouse moves by a pixel, we probably don't care. Pressing a controller button probably is fine. Yeah. Same with if the controller seems to be within its dead zone. Avoid switching because of stick drift. Yeah. All right, what else do we have? Make it game owned controller glyph style. I mean, this, I don't know if we want to switch per game. I think that's too much to ask. Yeah, I think we just need to find some glyphs. And I have these somewhere. God, it's so difficult to find this stuff now. So where was it? The dungeon thing, snow hex. I think here we have, oh, I put it in a different folder, didn't I? Okay, well, that I know where to find. But here we have the UI pack, and here's where I think we have a bunch of glyphs. It says console buttons. Let's open this up bigger. This won't work, right? Yeah, there's no Nintendo style buttons. Because A, B, X, and Y match the Xbox style, don't they? B is red, A is green, yeah. But on a Nintendo controller, they don't look like that. I don't think I want to use these anyway. They don't have any other ones, do they? No, it's just those. Okay, that's fine. I mean, there's a Kenny pack that has like all of them, I think. I'll probably use that. Resolve automatic when Steam is available. Important modeling detail is a store controls by physical position, not their printed letter. Don't normalizes controllers that way. Steam offers 2 levels. Get input type for handle. Better. Ask Steam for the actual action origin. Players may rebind to this. Oh boy. And allow for manually overriding within the game. Add a settings page to allow manually overriding glyphs. And yeah, persist this stuff. Oh my God. Okay, so for Skella Seller, we did not have save slots. I want save slots in this game. So maybe we need to design that a little bit. But let's say we have them already. Let's say we made them already. Where would we store controller settings? Probably in that save file. And where do we store video and sound settings? Probably also in that save file. Yeah, because even if you're on the same computer, you might have a different resolution that you want versus what someone else wants. The thing is, we need to know when you first load the game which save file you're loading from. When you, well, not first load the game, when you load the game for the second time, which save slot do we load from for video/audio settings? And I think it's just the last one that you loaded. All right, so here's what I think we do. I think we start with save slots so that we can save any of this controller information there too. And we consider a save file to be everything. So we do not separate out video content. Like if you can change the resolution or the window mode or something, we don't change that. Volume settings, we put those in there too. What else was there in Skeleseller? Local. Yeah, we had local stuff only. We didn't roam this. Oh, that was the other thing. Oh, God. Oh, nothing's easy. Because Steam Cloud will roam these settings. I think you'd want to roam your controller settings, but just not the video and audio stuff. But anyway, let's just cat this. Local settings. FPS limit, VSync, window mode, the locale, content scale factor, volume, key bindings. I think we want to roam key bindings. But I don't know. This is one of those things that's really tricky. Like, if you play on your desktop and on your Steam Deck, how would you want this to work? Because there's so many edge case scenarios that you could accommodate. And if you were making League of Legends, you probably would. But if you're making, you know, a game you play over the course of 5 hours and you're done, you wouldn't do this amount of stuff. Oh, hey, I just learned that Oppressel's here. Hey, Oppressel. You taught me something very valuable today, which is your existence. Confine mouse to window, use action menu. Let me know what you're debating about. I'll give you the right solution. Well, there's a set of features that we need to think about together. Save slots, controller glyphs, and rebinding control. And I'm just debating when it comes to save slots of like, what do we save locally versus what do we roam? I guess we don't need to have save slots just yet. But like I said, they're related, and save slots are definitely not based on having controller glyphs. So we should probably start with those. Oh, I've done that before, says Stella. And what's your own idea now? Of what we should do for this? Is that what you're going to propose? Because if so, that's genius. Yeah, I'm not totally sure. Because for Skeleseller, we saved all this stuff locally. So it was video, sound, locale. Yeah, for Skeleseller. Maybe I should write all this over here. What do we save locally versus what do we roam? Skeleseller local settings was audio, video, locale. This was like window mode, FPS. What else do we have here? Keybinds. And then some like game specific stuff. Like whether to use the quick move menu. Is your worry if the user has a controller on PC as well as Steam Deck? Yeah, something like that. Where if you don't roam the controller settings, they might get mad about it. If you do roam the controller settings, they might get mad about it. And giving them the option is probably not something I really want to do. Although I guess it wouldn't be that bad. Melon, apple, electrolytes. Okay. Okay, I haven't thought about it that way. Do we have anything else in here? No, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so audio, video, yeah, I think those should probably be local. and specific to a save file. And what is specific to a save file versus just stored for all users of that machine? Probably nothing is specific to a save, or sorry, probably nothing is for all users of a machine. If you make a new save slot, it would inherit some of the existing controls. I'm not sure. You can make profiles. I don't see any games really doing that. Well, that's kind of what a save slot is. Like, profiles might be a level higher. Like, if you play a game on Nintendo Switch, the very first thing it asks you is, are you Adam? Are you Bob? Are you Carol? And this would be like you playing your own entire copy of that game. So if I played and beat a game and then Bob loads it up, Bob sees it from the very first intro screen. Like, maybe they haven't even set their volume levels yet or something. We don't have a platform in front of it, though. We just have the game. So you launch Stuck in a Broken Tutorial and you see the title screen. It's like, we need to pick some settings for you. Like, what is the music level at? Which window mode are we in? And at least for something like music level, okay, we come up with an answer. It's 50% volume. Well, you can go change this. You haven't even started a game yet, though, and you set it to 100% volume. Now you go and play the game. It's at 100% volume. You're happy. Now you're like, hey, friend, come over to my computer and you should play this game too. And they start their own save slot. It's like, do we store their volume level differently? They like playing with the music off, let's say. Probably. I mean, these scenarios are already getting more and more niche as we talk about them, right? Two people playing on the same computer has got to be a minority case at this point. Or not playing on the same computer, playing on the same Steam account. Like, if you had it on your own Steam account, it would just be all your own settings too. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm thinking, like, how much do we care about with this? Save them separately. I don't have any changes now, right? No, I don't. You can make it just settings profiles though. Though that it's, so that it's then best of both worlds for the user probably. Well, you got to be careful, because if you have a settings profile and then also a save slot, you might be like, oh, I'm on a save slot, but the settings aren't what I expect. And it might add some confusion to the player. Now, if you did have a profile screen at startup, like the very first thing you did was you selected a user, Adam, Bob, Carol, you would bypass a lot of this, I guess, but then you wouldn't have like music on that. Also, you have to render that with some video as well. So yeah, I think nothing is stored like this. Now, in terms of what we save locally, I think the big question is like, do we roam key bindings? And I think the answer is no. Yeah, I think the answer is no. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we do that. If you want, you reset them and that's fine. Because you might not have the same controller. Okay, yeah. I think that's what we're going to go with. Okay, so let's maybe set up save slots first, excuse me. Hey, Tess. Given the ridiculous cost of hardware, kids might be sharing a PC more often again. Yeah, but on the same Steam account, I guess that's the real kicker there. Because the hardware might cost, let's say $40,000, but the Steam account is free and you probably have family sharing set up. So at that point, you could just be on your own account entirely. So yeah, that's why I say I think this is a pretty niche scenario. Maybe we should just remember that. Like, I think save slots are a niche scenario. So we'll just do the best we can, and any frustrations that arise, we can address later. Yeah, I think that's our conclusion we have to have. I think this could change depending on the kind of game you're making. If you're making like Pokemon, where your team of Pokemon is very personalized to you, you name them all, you raise them a certain way, you got to a certain part of the game. It's like, that's a game you'd probably expect save slots on. As opposed to like Tetris, you probably don't expect save slots on, because it's like, well, you're just playing the same little puzzle game throughout. Yeah. All right, so now we got to go figure out how we're going to do this. I think I've got this for Steam Cloud. And I even wrote this down. Have your game saved to a folder structure like this. Save data, Steam, local, synchronized, and then other platforms would be there too. I expect a save slot for my high score. Well, I guess it depends on how you do high scores. You could always do like the old arcade style where you type in your initials. Although I guess if you have, the top, 20 highest scores, you bump someone else off the leaderboard entirely. All right, so I'm going to consult AI on this, even though I've already done this for a game before. I just want to see if there's anything I'm missing. So Steam Cloud, Steamworks. Oh, man. All right, let's go take a look at this. So I want to set up save slots. When a player first chooses start game. Hey, hang on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I want to set up save slots. When a player first chooses start game, it would make a new... Well, should they have to pick which save slot they want? You know what I really liked is how Banjo-Kazooie did this. They had Banjo in his house, and there were 3 different save slots indicated by like where he was in the house. So if he's on the lounge, that's game 3. If he's on the bed, it's game 1, and I forgot what game 2 was. I think he's at the table or something. Oh no, there he was. He was cooking. And that was kind of cool. Because it wasn't just some like blank UI. Whereas the way Super Mario 64 did it is there were just 4 blank pieces of the UI at first. Yeah. Did they show any of the ones that are... No, they don't. I wanted to see if there was one that had just like everything blank. But yeah, it was something like this. So, oh, yep, there we go. Oh no, they do have a new one there. So yeah, at first it would just show new for all of these. And we don't need infinite save slots. I think like 2 to 4 is fine. Honestly, probably 3 is okay to do. And I don't even think we have you choose it first. I think you just pick start game and it just picks save slot 1 for you. And I think we show a little picture of your character that you customized. So show a picture of the character you customized in that save slot, or let you start a new file. Allow you to delete a save slot. Who saves mid-tutorial? Wouldn't it be funny? There's a save button and we're like, you can't save in the middle of a tutorial, and the whole game is a tutorial. You're gonna have to beat it all in one sitting. Hey, Twitch dog. Yeah, deleting a save slot is actually something I hadn't thought of, because if you only have 2 to 4 save slots, then you have to keep managing them and deleting them and stuff. So maybe what we could do is we could show you something like start game just like starts a game and picks slot 1 for you. Then the title screen changes to start new game or load game. Load game would just show you save slots you already have. And new game, show you save slots you have a new game button, and have a delete slot, delete save that has you confirm that you really want to delete it, and delays the yes option by 3 seconds. Or no, how about this? And requires you to hold a deletion button and like fills a circle or something to indicate that you can't do this quickly. You're talking about my coding now? All right. I think that's pretty good. We could have the title screen show this by default, new game and load game. I forgot what Skeleseller does. I think Skeleseller only shows play game at first. Hey, Nine, and hey, Bacon. Only show you slots if you have more than 1, shouldn't it? Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's probably correct. So here's some things we got to keep in mind then. Things to tell AI. In each save slot. Only show load game if you have more than one save slot. Wait, no. You have to show it even if you have one, right? Because otherwise, how would you go start a new save file? Yeah, no, we can't do that. Because yeah, imagine the case where you have one save file and now someone else comes over and wants to start their own game. You go to start game and it would just pick the save file you have. Hey, Krasner. You're saying just don't show the save slots when you choose new game for the very first time, right? Because, yeah, I was already thinking of skipping that. So you click story mode. I guess the title screen doesn't really change here. You click this, and then it says new game or continue game. So, yeah, I guess what we could do... Skeleseller shows story mode and has you choose new or continue after that. Yeah, on the first auto go, yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So, yeah, we could have start. We could change this to, like, play. Or yeah, start game or something. I don't know, play, doesn't matter. And then if you pick the, yeah, so we just have one button. So just have one start game button on the title screen. If you don't have a save slot already, it just starts a game using slot 1 for storage. If you have a slot, it shows the save slot screen. So list any slots you already have saved with the character palette showing. Maybe show playtime eventually. I might want to write that down somewhere. Show playtime in the save slot. In case of one save file, load game button should just take you to the only save file. It only goes to the save. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm thinking of making it just be one button on the screen anyway, so that there's just a single UI for all of this. So list any slots you already have saved with the character palette showing. Show a new game button. And allow for deleting a slot. And that's it, right? That's all we need to do. And he puts you on the character customization screen. Okay. So I want to set up save slots. When a player first chooses start game, it would make a new save slot automatically without asking them and put them on the character customization screen. When a player chooses start game but already has a save file, it will show them the save slot screen on here. List any slots you already have saved. Show the platformer. Show the... You know, we could do, this is a nice little bit of polish for later. I'm not doing this right now. We could show where you left off in the game. So if you got to like Dungeon Racer, for example, we can show you the Dungeon Racer graphics on that screen. That'd be really cool. I'll write that down for later. Show or like customize the character sprite in the save slot based on which game you last played. Oh, by the way, one other thing I want to show off really quickly here is I got the new graphics in from Quickie Joe. This is Quickie Joe's work, not mine. In the Dungeon Racer game. So let's say we customize the hair color to be Yeah, bright green, and we change the shirt color to be, let's just set this to like pink or something like that. Yeah, okay. So we got green hair, pink shirt, click accept. And now we go into the Dungeon Racer game. Check it out. So yeah, these graphics look really great. I like them a lot. And if you stand here for long enough, your character will take her hood off and you'll be able to see the hair color you customized in full. Yeah, very cool. Really like it. We haven't customized the little glyph at the top yet. We got to do that. But yeah, it's looking nice. So if you have a slot, so listening slots you already have saved, show a preview of the platformer character. I want to do this the right way. So glad we have AI to help with some of this stuff because I do not feel like doing most of this. So where do we show full preview sprite? Yeah, so I want to copy this. Show idle.png. Render a preview of idle.png. Yeah, using the saved color palette to indicate saved color palette to indicate which save file it is. Also render the last played time, which should get saved to a file. Save to the file. Show a new game button. Why is this not like letting me delete this? There we go. Show a new game button. This would bring you to the character customization screen while remembering which that you should save to a new slot and allow for deleting a slot. This should require holding, let's say like, maybe like game specific 2. Yeah. For 3 seconds while holding it like a circular, or I don't know, something should fill up like a bar underneath like the background, or a bar should fill in red to indicate that you're deleting the slot. Beautiful day to be alive indeed. Hey Goose, it is a beautiful day. Yeah, I'm feeling this task a little bit more because there's some complexity to it. It's not just, oh hey, go add, feature number 476 to the game. It's like we do need to put a lot of thought into this, and I'm glad that we made Scalaseller and that I learned a little bit from that. Yeah. This require holding the game specific 2 input for 3 seconds. While holding it, the background or a bar should fill in red to indicate that you're deleting a slot. So yeah, you should not be able to delete. Actually, only filled slots should show up, right? If after deleting a slot, you no longer have any slots remaining, it should boot you back to the title screen. Okay, so now when it comes to storing these, and by the way, we got to set this to plan. So here's what I had over here that would allow us to store in different locations. And we should have like a Steam thing here. Where's my Go Burrito configuration? There it is, goburrito.json. So csproj or sln, how do I do this? Here we go, solution items. Let's just add this in here. Go burrito dot JSON. Okay, so now we should be able to access this, right? Go burrito. Yeah, nice. So do we have any Steam stuff in here? No. Oh man. Steam. There should be something in here that says default targets, Windows, Steam, default publisher. Something tells it to be on Steam. How do we do that? I don't think I even coded this in then, did I? Oh, or gets added at... Oh, God. All right, code Godot, go burrito, RG Steam. Oh, this sucks. I gotta figure out how we did this. Yeah, this is gonna take all day. It's fine if it takes all day. This is why it's a stabilization task. All right, let's go take a look. So in export, we have something that lets us pick features. Target store Steam. Yeah, where does that come from? Not in there. Okay, this is not good. We probably don't ever use this. Oh man, I don't think we do. I don't think this ever would have worked. Target store doesn't show up at all, does it? No. What about over here? Target store? No, it doesn't. Wait a second though. Something's wrong. That has to be used somewhere. If I don't see it here, then we have a problem, don't we? No, it's right there. Yeah, we just never export this. Okay. Okay, we have a little bit of a problem. Glad I didn't publish a new version of Scaleless Seller, because we probably would have broken achievements. Yeah, this is rough. Okay, so what are we going to do then? We need to change Go Burrito so that it can export flags like target store Steam and target store itch. That way we know whether to initialize Steam achievements or not. All right, so it's going to be based on having this flag, which I don't have. I want save slots to store the, or I want to store these save slots in a location on disk that includes the platform, the game distribution platform in it. For example, if target store Steam is true, then I want Steam to show up in the save location. Folder name in the save location. If target store itch is true, I want itch to show up as a folder name in the save location. All right, now we got to go look at this. So I wrote some notes on this, reveal in Finder. I'm going to copy this and we're going to paste it over in my temp folder. No such file or directory. There we go. All right, so in temp, we have steam cloud.md. Cloud.md. Yeah, nice. All right. So open dot steam cloud. I wrote some notes on Steam Cloud and attached them. I want easy configuration of Steam Cloud. Consult the notes I wrote attached as a .md file. And also look at the documentation. Store everything. All right, anything I'm missing here? When player first chooses start game, it should make a new save slot. And nothing would actually get stored there until you save the game. The game should automatically save every time you do something significant. For now, this means when you complete a section of the game. For example, oh, I still need to talk about local settings. Talk about local settings and where they get saved. For example, after customizing your character, we would create the save slot. After leaving the architect's office for the first time, we would remember that you should start in the farming game. After leaving the architect's office for the second time, we would remember that you should start in the top-down shooter, etc. with the other games and their completions. Actually, no, we should probably remember that you're in the architect's office. Like let's say you beat the top-down shooter and then you're like, okay, let's pick up some other time. You wouldn't know that it just saved. Yeah, we got to come up with probably either more granular saves or a way for you to manually save. I don't want to allow you saving just at arbitrary times, though. I think we will do sort of a checkpoint system. Yeah. For now, this means when you complete a section of the game, generally means getting to the architect's realm or leaving the architect's office. Yeah. Here I move. Well, there could still be saves coming, but it's unlikely that you'd even need it. For some examples, after customizing your character, we save. Actually, no, how about this? After leaving, yeah, I'll just put this here. After leaving the architect's office for the first time, we'd remember that you should start in the farming game. After entering the architect's realm from the farming game, we would remember to start in the architect's realm the next time around with the farming game as the parent. When you complete that cutscene and leave the architect's office, though, we would start you in the top-down shooter. This same general set of rules applies for the top-down shooter, loot boxes, and Dungeon Racer sub-games as well. All right, so we haven't talked about local settings. We need to modify, we need to keep track of how long you've played and which specific point you left off at. We will not allow for arbitrarily saving at, yeah. Hey, Kevin. Thought I disabled saving in here. Undertale did some pretty cool stuff with save files toward the end. I think it could potentially be neat to do something like that. I do want to get the foundation though. Will not allow for saving an arbitrary point in time. The automatic save spots are, I should just list them all out. After entering the farming game, entering the architects, so any game after the platformer, entering the architect's realm after the farming game. If you leave the community center in the farming game, it will save and return you to the architect's realm from the farming game when you load. Okay, that's much clearer, I think. Remember to start in the architect's realm the next time around and you complete the cutscene. Yeah. Yeah, this is much clearer and more succinct. Need to keep track of how long you played and which specific point you left off at. So that, yeah. And we should store some settings such that they won't roam with Steam Cloud. Video settings, audio settings, and game or like control rebindings. There's no need to code control rebindings yet, but they would go to a local only file. And yeah, when starting a new save slot, these local only settings would be specific to would be present in each save slot. This means that when making a new save slot, it essentially inherits the local settings from the parent. For example, if player A had the volume at 100%, and I'll just say if the volume is at 100% and a new save slot is started, the volume for that new slot would also be 100%. Hey, Leftist, thank you very much. How's it going? You're going to be an arch enemy in the game that figures out how to hack into your game UI and mess with your settings, or maybe just threaten to delete a save or something? I'm not totally sure yet exactly how we want to do this. Yeah, there's a lot that's up in the air. Hope you're also well and things are as such. Yeah, things are going pretty well. I felt pretty busy lately. And there's just been, like, yesterday was a whirlwind of stuff that we kind of partially started. I made a very simple website. We almost set up the Steam page, but then I need a little bit more artwork. So we've got the foundation of it. I mean, it doesn't look great because I don't have a trailer. But if you look at, wait for it. This is pretty hard to get to here. So like this is what it will eventually look like. We've got our capsule art. We've got some screenshots here. I've got some videos I recorded and a little description. And yeah, it's starting to look like something. So I'm really excited. I think we've been making great progress. And today is going to be all about like save slots, controller glyphs, a whole bunch of stuff. All right, so is there anything else I need to talk about here that I have not already talked about? Player chooses a start game that has a save file. I'll show them the save slot screen. List any slots you already have saved. Render a preview. Should we allow a maximum number of save slots? Like 5 or something? Yeah, show a new game button if you have fewer than 5 save slots. Yeah, 5 is pretty good. If you need more than 5, I actually don't know why you would, but yeah, 5 sounds fine. I know some games practically allow for infinite. I don't really think that's a good thing. Like, you end up with a bunch of saves where you're like, what was I doing there? Why did I have this saved? I think Final Fantasy VII had so many that I would sometimes just save in new slots anyway, just to be like, well, what if I want to go back to this point? And I never want to go back to that point. And then it became a hassle. And then I might have loaded the wrong save file at some point. And yeah. So I think having 5 is probably pretty reasonable. In fact, even probably 3 is okay. Let's split the difference. Let's say 4. Yeah. Need a search feature for save slots. Yeah. Yeah. I want to store these slots in a location on disk that includes the game distribution platform in it. Note, nothing actually sets target store Steam yet, but that's the feature I want to check for. Store itch yet, but those are the features I want to check for. Okay, I want easy configuration of Steam Cloud. Not allow for saving arbitrary points in time. Automatic save spots are here. We need to keep track of how long you've played. And yeah, for anything I haven't mentioned, ask me questions about it. Okay, I think we are finally good. Let's kick this off. And now I'm gonna go take my break. Hopefully it doesn't ask me questions like very soon, because I wanna at least start the break. So I'll be back in just a little bit. Is it jump time? It's jump time. go. Close the game. Okay, so we should be waiting on some answers. Yeah, there are some questions here. Which exact progression points should become loadable autosave checkpoints? Every post-platformer entry, save before entering, first farming, fever dream, second farming. Before entering, I guess. Yeah, I'll just do this. If this is wrong, we can always fix this. When should last playtime, and local settings be written? Yeah, that's good. Where should editor debug builds save when neither store feature is present? Well, sure. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, last second jump. Oh, man. There's so much to do. All right, so key bindings. Yeah. Maybe I should write this over here. Work on a new project. Read these notes first. And save slots. This isn't Steam specific, but in general, I think save slots should be considered a niche feature. So add them if you want, but don't tailor much to them. Two people playing on the same computer could always use Steam's family sharing feature and just play from their own separate accounts. Okay. And then controller settings. Did I write down what I consider local settings to be? I did not. Note, local would contain machine or user specific settings like video resolution, window mode, volume sliders, and even controller mappings, controller bindings, key bindings. What would I say that encapsulates both keyboard and controller here? Yeah, control mappings, I guess. Sure, that's fine. All right. So I think we've written all this stuff down. What is specific to a save file versus just stored? Yep. Show playtime. We've got that. Customize a character sprite. Oh, yeah. This is an idea for the future. All right. When should a pending new slot become a real on-disk slot? Start a new game opens customization, but cancellation leaves no empty slot. Accepting commits the slot and starts the platformer. That's fine. Yeah, I don't really care about this. The way I look at save slots is how much would a character be okay losing? And customizing your character, but not playing through the first minute and a half of the game is not a big deal if you lost that. But that's also fine to just save it there too. So how should per slot local settings be selected and inherited? Boot with the most recently played. Yep, this is exactly what I want. I didn't even remember to say this though. Yeah, nice. What should count toward a slot's total playtime? Count customization after new game and active gameplay, excluding title screen. Yeah, that's all fine. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Oh my God, this is such an improvement in workflow over Skeleseller. Like for Skeleseller, any of these things that I hadn't thought of, I might just never think of, and I might never do as a result of that. And then finally, well, I guess there are kind of two categories of negative things that could happen. Things I didn't think of and things I purposely didn't prioritize. that people care about or ended up caring about. Now, save slots, I specifically did not do in Skeleseller because I was like, look, it's not that long of a game. There's no replayability. Why should I do this? And people did complain about that. And I just kept saying, like, look, I'm sorry, that's it. It's just they're not there. So here are some workarounds, but yeah, otherwise, too bad. So yeah, I realized that, okay, some people do care about save slots. This is probably going to be the same general length as Skeleseller, at least in terms of story mode. So if people cared about it for Skeleseller, they probably care about it for this. But yeah, in terms of things I didn't think of, at least, or maybe things that were, maybe there's another category, like things I thought of and wanted to do, but didn't spend the time. I guess that's kind of just prioritizing them, right? But something like showing how long you've played. This isn't that hard to do. I just never did it. And now we're doing it from the beginning. So yeah. How should existing slots be ordered and identified on the save slot screen? Fix slots 1 to 4. Give them a stable numbered position. Reuse lowest empty number after deletion. Keep slots in numeric order. Yeah, I think this is fine. Yeah. What should happen if a slot file cannot be parsed or its latest write is interrupted? Keep one roaming prior checkpoint backup, auto recover from it. Show a deletable corrupt slot if both copies fail. How would that ever get corrupted in that case? I mean, not being able to parse it could be that the version changed. Yeah, I think it's fine. If an autosave write fails during play, how should progression behave? Retry or continue prompt. Show a blocking error with retry and continue without saving. If a write fails? Yeah, we just want to keep trying to save. Why would it ever fail? I guess if it lost permission to write to disk. Hey, ENIAC. Backing storage file could be corrupted externally. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Autosave write fails during play. How should progression behave? Show a blocking error with retry and continue without saving. I don't want to interrupt play for this. Blocking until saved, it might block forever. Show a brief warning, keep the prior checkpoint, and continue automatically. Oh man, I don't know. What should we do when an autosave fails? So if it's the very first autosave, we should probably show an error or something saying the game can't save, tried X times. You can still play, but you should probably report this bug. Seems like an edge case. Oh, it definitely is. I don't think I've heard of these sorts of problems. So if it's the first time, we could show an error like this. But if it's any subsequent time, I think we just warn. If it's the first time, if autosave fails to create the file as opposed to updating it, then we should show an error. Then we should retry autosaving once. And if that fails too, we should show an error and tell the player to report a bug. We don't actually have a way of doing this, by the way. We don't have a way of popping up a dialogue and showing them this thing. If it's any subsequent time, retry twice, and then warn or like log an error to the console and continue anyway. Yeah, I think this is the most reasonable thing. Creating the file should only happen after customizing the character. So we could have a specific error flow or UI for that particular screen. Smiley face. Happy 5 months. Thanks to the resub, Avaniac. Yeah, much obliged. Very kind of people to sub to this channel. Generally happen after customizing the character. The screen that we show can be a relatively unstyled interstitial that simply has the warning or the error message and an OK button. Nothing else on the screen. Yeah. How we doing on usage? 60%. We've used 1% for all of this so far. I mean, it was just a plan. And then we got to figure out all the controller glyph stuff. Also, I'm having this. Oh, what's this? I should check this in. Allow opening go burrito.json. We got to modify go burrito to set this stuff. So if I open up Skeleseller and I run this, it says we're on a build or on a release. So let's say I choose build and I pick release and then I pick which targets I want. So these don't know that they're supposed to contain feature flags, and they should know that. That's incredibly important. Hey, Magnus. Yeah, I should make a command for that. Go burrito stands for Godot build and release tool. It's an AI coded tool Adam made to allow for parallelized builds of his games and automated releases to itch/Steam. Nice name, thanks. I am a fan of it. Oh, what just happened? Did I just close? I think I closed chat. Sorry, so hold on. I don't know who just subbed right there. Obama Envy, thank you for subbing too. Was that your first sub? No, 2 months. Okay, yeah, happy 2 months. Yeah, thank you. Well, if you insist, I want to eat a burrito. Yeah, so we got to have this add in feature flags. Let me answer these questions first. Besides the required palette preview and last play timestamp, what should each healthy slot show? Slot playtime checkpoint. Slot end, total playtime, a friendly resume point label, and last played. Total playtime, last played, but keep the resume point internal. Yeah. I don't know about the resume point because it's a bunch of other strings we're going to have to localize. Yeah, for now, let's just do this. How should last played be updated and formatted? Session activity, local format. Update on load/create and every metadata flush. Store UTC. Display an absolute timestamp. Player's local culture and time zone. Update on load/create. I was just thinking it'd be on save. Update only after successful progression autosave and display local absolute time. Update with session activity, but display text such as 2 hours ago. I think seeing like 76 days ago. I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter. Hey, Jost. Does it update the live Steam branch automatically as well? No, I don't think you can do that. I think you have to manually publish through Steam. But I don't recall. Maybe that's not true. Yeah, do I actually have a preference for this? Last played, if we saw something like August 4th, 2026 versus last played like 3 days ago. I don't even know if it's 3 days ago. Yeah, 3 days ago. Any preference? I don't think this matters. Yeah, in fact, I think this is probably best because that way we can rely on C#'s formatting. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, this is fine. All right, when a roaming slot arrives on a device with no local settings, what should it inherit? Yeah, that's fine. This would never, well, I guess it could happen. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Okay, yeah, current device settings. Okay, cool. Cool indeed. All right, so we left off with the Go Burrito thing. I did not ever get that working, did I? Yeah, default targets does not come with. Oh, I'm gonna need to do this. Thanks, Codex. Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's make a new thing over here. We don't have any changes here, do we? Get status, get push. We shouldn't have anything. Yep, everything's up to date. Okay, great. So I want to make a new plan maybe for, I want to inject, gotta figure out how to do this. What are we doing here? Export presets, target store Steam. Yeah, I want to inject custom features into export presets.cfg based on the platform. Is that what it's called? Platform? Based on the targets. For example, Max Steam for Skeleseller should inject target store Steam. Max Steam. Hang on a second. Excuse me. Hey, Lammy. The publishing script. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I really wanted to be parallelized because in Skeleseller we had 6 different builds and we did them sequentially and it just took like 3 minutes or something. And a lot of times I make a change, like whatever, I fix a bug in the game and I'm like, okay, we want to publish this. Waiting the however many minutes it takes is time that I can then forget what I'm doing. I could get distracted. I could, I don't know, like delete my patch notes file I started writing or something. So yeah, parallelizing this is really, really nice. All right, I want to inject custom feature. For example, Max Steam. What are the other ones? Windows and Linux spelled out all together. Okay, so Windows Steam and Linux Steam for Skeleseller should all inject target store Steam. Likewise, Mac itch, Windows itch, and Linux itch for Skeleseller should all inject target store itch. Note, my games means both Skeleseller and Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. I want their Go Burrito JSON files updated to indicate that these custom features should be injected. Hey, Cuddlefish, thank you very much. However, for Stuck in a Broken Tutorial, only output the update here since I have another agent working on the repo concurrently. So this is a plan. We're all set. Yeah. And then this should be a little further. What palette should character customization start from for a new slot? Built-in default. Yep, exactly. When Dungeon Racer finishes and returns the title, what should loading that slot do later? Treat completion as a final checkpoint and show the slot is completed. Loading can restart and its resulting endless / post game state. Yeah, I guess it could. I don't actually know what we want to do. I never thought about this because this is not really the end of the game right now. So yeah, what happens when you finally beat the game? Where should you go back to? Or what should happen when you load the save file? I don't know. Show the slot as completed. Loading can restart Dungeon Racer. Sure, yeah. If the player changes settings before any slot exists and quits, should those settings persist? Oh, this is a little bit difficult because if you end up deleting all your slots, you would get rid of your controller bindings and stuff. Yeah, I think I like this. So bootstrap the settings file. If the player ever deletes every save slot, we should update that bootstrapped file. This is such a niche scenario that no one's ever going to run into. So the new save slots will inherit it. Needs input. Currently defines only the 3 Steam targets. How should the handoff handle itch? Design itch targets, yeah. Which requires what? How do you read the rest of this? There we go. Preset output publishing choices. Yeah. So design itch targets, but base them on how Skeleseller did them. Yeah. Should settings even be included in saves or persisted separately? So the reason I think they should be included in the saves is because you might want different volume settings from, someone else in your household who plays. So they need to be saved alongside alongside your save files. And yeah, I've heard some weird things on Twitch. Like some people are like, oh, as soon as I load a game, I turn all the music off. And it's like, okay, that's not how I would play. But yeah, I wouldn't want to, like, if, Raimi were on my machine and he turns the music off and then I start playing and I'm like, where's the music? I don't want to have to customize that again. What should the handoff include so the new targets are usable? Presets and manifest. Duplicated these. This is probably fine. I don't know. We're going to test this out eventually anyway. Yeah, sure, whatever. Should Stux release variant select the new itch targets by default? Yeah, sure. I don't know if I read this already, but hey, Chris, you say it's niche. Every time I've said that, it's bit me. I think it is worth recognizing what niche means in a particular sense. So in this case, if it's like, 10% of your players want this feature, you could be wrong about the 10%. You could be wrong about how much they want it or how vocal they'll be. So in this particular case, we're talking about save slots, and you customize local settings, and then you delete all of your save slots, and then you close the game. Is this scenario going to be common? Like, almost certainly not. I just can't imagine. Also, like, the you close the game is the important part. If you're deleting your save slots, you're probably making a new game right after, right? Like, why would you ever delete the save slots and then close the game? It's just not a scenario I see happening. And if it happens, like, that's what we're going to accommodate. But am I going to put a lot of testing into this? No, I'm not. I don't really care. Like, if you deleted your save slots and you lost your volume control, it's not a big deal. Usually watching on YouTube and had the stream pause at some point. Oh no, that's totally fine. Also, I was talking about it at that point too. I mean, it was good. How are you going to ensure that the pre-menu unskippable cutscene doesn't get muted and plays at max volume? We have to play that at like higher than max volume. We need to ship speakers to the player that will rumble their entire core. All right, so we got to read this plan in a sec, but let's finish this. After first slot creation, error screens OK button is pressed. Where should the player go? Back to customization. Preserve their chosen palette and let them press accept to try creating the slot again. This will just put them in an infinite loop. Wait, what? Yeah, it's just move on to the game, I think, right? Please confirm the exact behavior for loading a completed slot. Load directly. Honestly, I think I kind of want this title only completion. Keep the slot for metadata, but do not allow it to launch gameplay, because I don't know what we want to do there eventually. Then again, not being able to load it is kind of weird. So yeah, let's just pick this. If deleting one or more files for a slot fails, what should the UI do? Keep slot and show error. Retry twice, retain or reload the slot if any required deletion fails. And show a simple OK only error. Sure, whatever. I'd love for this to stop asking me questions now. I think it knows enough. Stuck in an infinite loop. Just walk in a circle. So there's a backup settings file that holds the last settings in case all saves are deleted. What I've found is that if you ever save extra files to disk and they're not super important, no one's going to go looking for them. So let's say you're playing, I don't know, Stardew Valley, and you played for 50 hours and your save gets like corrupted a bit, you will go seek out that file because it's 50 hours of data. But if you're playing whatever, any game, and it's your like volume settings that get corrupted, you would just configure them again, I think. You wouldn't go look online for like, oh, how do I save these? Or yeah, volume, controller, video. So for that, I don't think it's very important. I think it might be the loudest thing I've ever heard, man. Yeah. Probably faster even if you know the location. Yeah. Yeah, and if there's anything really fiddly, like, you know, I've been playing the finals a lot. There are a lot of settings for that game. And one of the things I customized was like my crosshair. It's this ugly like pink and green thing so I can just see it everywhere. Like, yeah, that would be annoying to reconfigure. But even then, I'd probably just reconfigure it. After creation fails twice, the error is acknowledged. The platform starts without a file. How should later checkpoints treat that pending slot? Yeah, sure, whatever. That's fine. All right, I should probably take a look at this now. Used to be a video game tester. It was a tedious job. I once fell asleep with a controller in hand. I got nudged by a coworker. I had crashed the game. I was walking in circles. Overwhelming amount of footprint in the desert map, and it crashed the game. Wow. You're a better tester in your sleep than most people are awake. How's that feel? Alright, we're 59% here. When does this reset? August 8th. Oh, wow. Tomorrow? Oh, my God. Okay, so then, yeah. This is the perfect time to be doing a bunch of AI coding, huh? All right, so add optional custom features to each manifest target. Selected target's features will combine with the selected variance features. Variant, what? Where do we do that? I see. Demo. Yep, that's fine. Extend manifest v1 with custom features, defaulting to empty and validating as unique non-empty strings. Wait, what? Doesn't have to be non-empty. Maybe it just means, okay, I think I understand what it says. There could be 0 of them, but if they're there, they can't be empty. Carry each target's effective features through the build plan, preserve order. Before customizing, treat every feature declared by any variant or target as managed. What? Okay, sure, I guess. Keep resolved plan.custom features backward compatible. I mean, that doesn't really matter. Yeah. No need for backward compatibility. I'm the only user of this so far, and only with the 2 games I mentioned. All right, update, go burrito. Yep, sounds good. Do not modify stuck in a broken tutorial. Output a deterministic handoff update containing custom features, new package, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sure. Requested Windows theme refers to Windows theme. Yeah, I mistyped it. Stuck's new itch preset should mirror scale social pattern. Okay, so let's click that. This is just going to generate a new plan. And what's this one doing now? Yep, we got a plan over here too. Let's read this. Hit back up. Well, only user because I didn't make this public yet. I might make it public at some point. Well, this one I said to ask me a bunch of questions at the beginning. For anything I haven't mentioned, ask me questions. I don't usually do that, but I didn't want to have any blind spots for this. As we move to test the dance game on Connect. Yeah, bug quota for a game sounds kind of crazy. I never really thought about that. All right, so add 4 fixed numbered save slots. Reuse the lowest available number after deletion. Corrupt slots remain occupied until deleted. With no slots, start game opens character customization directly. Accepting creates a slot. Canceling returns the title. With any existing slot, start game opens a slot selector. Yep, sounds good. Separate checkpointed progression from independently flushed playtime settings so metadata rights never accidentally persist mid-game progress. Yep. Use Steam AutoCloud for roaming progression while keeping video, audio, and future control settings device local. Sounds good. Introduce a save slot service owning discovery, pending active slots, loading, checkpointing, metadata flushing, deletion, retry policy, and storage paths. Save slot summary. Slot number, healthy or corrupt status, palette, total playtime, last checkpoint, continue point, platformer, first farming, fever dreams, second farming. Sure, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Version save slot data, frozen progression snapshot, RGBA palette, continue point, total play seconds, UTC last checkpoint time. Yep. Version local. Wait. Progression snapshot. I wonder what that's actually going to contain. Hopefully not too much. All right. Mute master music effects UI volumes, window mode, leave schema extensible. Sounds good. Cool. Lammy, thanks for the resub. Happy 7 months. Yeah, thank you all for the resubs today. Store data under user save data, Steam itch development, synchronized slot N, save data platform synchronized backup, local slot N settings, and bootstrap settings. Very nice. Resolve target store Steam and target store itch. Use development when neither exists. Treat both simultaneously as a configuration error. Existing Steam export presets already set the Steam feature. Do not add itch presets in this change. Wait, really? I did that? I don't remember doing that. Oh, wow. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Use source-generated JSON serialization, schema validation, strict slot file names, and atomic temporary file replacement. Rotate roaming backup only when the progression advances. If primary is unreadable but its backup is valid, restore and load the backup. If both fail and the schema is unsupported, yep. Creation attempts run twice total. On failure, show plain OK only, bug report error. OK continues in the destination game with an in-memory pending slot. Each later checkpoint retries creation. Existing slot and metadata rights run 3 times total. All right, sure. Slot deletion deletes local settings and backup before deleting the primary. Retries failure. Failures twice. Yeah, this is technically correct English still. And shows an OK only. Yep. Okay, cool. Add a title screen slot selector containing stable slot 1 to 4 cards with an animated 10-frame idle PNG, preview recolored, slot and total playtime formatted with unbounded hours, and last successful checkpoint time. Sounds good. New game button whenever fewer than 4 slots are occupied. Oh, you know what I didn't write is that the new game button should be disabled when you have 4 slots. And not that it shouldn't exist. So after implementation, I'm not going to change the plan for this. Make sure new game is disabled if you have 4 slots already. Applies local setting, restores the progression snapshot, starts playtime tracking, launches its continue point, selecting new game opens customization, canceling returns to the selector, holding game specific 2 on a focus slot, fills a red progress bar across the card over exactly 3 seconds, releasing the input, changing focus, or leaving the screen resets it. After deleting the last remaining slot, refresh the bootstrap settings. Sounds good. Keep existing pause menu. Sorry, I do see chat going. I will look at it in a bit. I want to make sure I'm looking at this right now. After deleting the last remaining slot, refresh that. Yep, keep existing pause, save, load controls disabled. Slot switching remains title screen only. Yeah, maybe we just delete those. I don't actually know. Figure out what to do about save/load on the pause menu. Track playtime using elapsed time segments rather than per frame allocations. Count pending customization. Elapsed time segments. Yeah, that's fine. Discard pending customization time. Yep. Okay, that's fine. Keep last played equal to the most recent successful progression checkpoint, not metadata. Sounds good. Flush accumulated playtime in local settings without changing the frozen progression snapshot after debounce settings change. Oh, that's pretty nice. I like the debouncing there. Treat bootstrap settings as the current device settings mirror. Oh yeah, we also got to store a version number inside this. Store a game version inside each save file. Or a save version number. This is essentially, we would only update this when we change the schema, which would indicate the need for a save file migration. We don't need the migration system yet. Just an error if we try loading a save file whose version is unexpected. All right, I might need to modify the plan for this. I don't want to read through a whole other plan though. All right, save progression before entering these destinations. Yeah. Loading the farming architect realm in that zone with the necessary story flags applied. Enters fever dream rather than recreating farming. Oh wait, what's a fever dream even doing here? The fever dream game isn't part of normal gameplay. Is only accessible via cheats. Should not be considered. Should not affect save files at all. All right, I do need to modify the plan then. Yeah. Correct the existing first farming transition. Yeah, okay. Steam Cloud. Add a repository guide that turns the attached notes into an exact Steamworks checklist and uses Auto Cloud. I don't know about that. All right, you know what? Fine, I guess. If it's just going to make a guide for me, I got to write that down, though. At some point, use the guide it creates for Steam Cloud to actually set it up on Steam. Okay, so we have to tell this to do some things differently. Make sure new game is disabled if you have 4 slots already, as opposed to outright hiding the button. Figure out, oh, this I need to do myself. Okay, fine. Store a game version or a save version number inside. We only update this when we change the schema, which would indicate the need for a save file migration. We don't need the migration system yet, just an error. And this is only accessible via this. All right, so next. All right, so that's all done. Now there is another change over here, but before I finish this, which I said no need for backward compatibility, we can probably just assume this is good now because that's all I changed. I'm not going to read through this again. We'll see if it works afterward. So now I can finally read chat. It's deleted from their copy once they hit 4 saves. Yeah, no new games at that point. You got to know to only ever keep 3 and just delete them. Nightly builds. I'm going to test it and file bugs. Wow. Calculate it. Needs input. How strict should the cheat only fever dream should not affect save files at all? No checkpoint or save state, yeah. All right, well, we haven't even gotten a controller glyph stuff yet because I think we should have the save slots first, but we do need to start planning that pretty soon. That's also going to be a beefy set of changes here. We need both of these, though. So it's writing the new plan. This one's already implementing, right? Yeah. Lots of ongoing stuff, and we'll need to start one more agent afterward for this stuff. And then control rebinding is something we might get to. So like high level work for today, save slots, controller glyphs, and control rebinding. How are we doing on this? 57%. Bring through the plan for save slots and the implementation. Oh, and the Go Burrito update to allow for custom features. What a day. What a day. Yeah. All right. I want to read through this pretty quickly because all we said was that a couple of things should be changed here. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to trust it. I read through everything already. If it didn't get these few changes, we'll see it when we look at the code. All right. So now we got to start thinking about control rebinding. So let's go make a new file. Let's close out all this stuff first, I guess. Oh, by the way, I got a new Chrome theme that makes this black no matter whether it has a focus or not. My old theme I was using for like 10 years or something. And the problem is that when you click the different window, it would make all of this bright gray. I want this to be a different color than just straight up black because it's really hard to tell what's selected here. The only real way I can tell is based on this set of pixels in this rectangle. An X shows up and it darkens the text a little bit. But otherwise, you can't tell what's selected, right? It's really difficult. So I'd like some difference there. I wonder if I should just make my own theme. Can you not make your own Chrome theme? I don't know how hard it is to do that and how much maintenance it would be. It's the maintenance that I think would be annoying. Like, let's say Chrome added a new widget here all of a sudden that you could spawn in the middle of the screen. It's like I would need to go in and go customize the colors for that. Assuming I use the widget, I guess. But yeah, it's probably not all that difficult. Especially not with AI nowadays. All right, we got to start writing a new prompt. Let's go do that. So we'll call this controller glyphs prompt dot md. I would like to add controller glyphs to the game. I need to satisfy all of the requirements from here. Let's just link to this maybe. No, that doesn't work. How do you link to, oh, I see, getting started for devs. Yeah, there we go. I will be releasing on both Steam and itch, and I need to show the correct controller glyphs when on itch. Can I use the Steam API even when on itch? Assume that the player doesn't have Steam installed. Hi, Mr. Adam. Hey, Bohem. Thanks for the 19 months. How's everything going for you? How is life treating you? What is the best restaurant you've been to in the last 2 months? Fwem knows some pretty good restaurants. Last 2 months, ignored all the other questions, jumped right to restaurants. Yeah, what groceries have you been buying? How much tax have you paid? I'm curious about everything. That's say it says awaiting. What is awaiting? Allow it to what? Edit a private. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Paid 500K on GE tag. What is GE? Grand Exchange. OSRS. Okay, I see. I see. You think I'm a fool? I want to hear about this restaurant. Hey, Faceless. Told to reach out this stream to ask whether you know any therapist that has extensive experience working with game developers, especially those who want to make a successful game. What? A therapist? Experience working with game devs? If this is a joke, I don't get it. And if it's a real query, okay, okay, okay. It's a reference to the video I produced yesterday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, gotcha. Yeah, just checking. Yeah, for those wondering, I made my how to make a successful game. I made this video public. I'm very proud of this video, but I didn't want it to be seen as like a knee-jerk reaction to releasing Skeleseller. I'll put this in chat, but it's a pretty good watch. It's a comedy video. It's not serious. And it's actually got decent views, I guess. It's not bad. Because I think that only counts since I published it yesterday and not the views I originally had. But who knows? I think that's the top one. Okay, now let's look this place up. $134 reviews, 4.7. They got a website. Order now through Chowbus. Holy moly, look at this. They've got hand sushi. You could eat right off of that, the gloved hand. I gotta say, it's a little weird. I would expect it to have been plated or something for that picture. The hand looks so realistic. They did not get that it was a parody. Really? I feel like there are so many tells in that video. Did they enjoy it at least? I mean, I talked about friends going to prison. When the player is using a keyboard, I'd like to show keyboard keys instead of controller glyphs. These would probably be dynamic in that they would have a generic keyboard border, but have a dynamically filled character to press based on what the player bound. Hang on one. Oh yeah, I'll actually be gone for a couple of minutes. Hang on. Give me a couple of minutes. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. All right, what did I miss? Custom binds on a Steam Deck. You can switch to a mouse and back to a gamepad. Yeah. 1,000 applicants? Wow. Yeah. Maybe touch your rock band guitar. I want to play on the drums. All right, the player should be able to switch between controller and keyboard slash mouse at will, and it should update any glyphs that we've already drawn. Oh, so much to write here. What is this thing doing? You want to allow applying the requested target custom feature annotations to Scala sellers? Yes, I do. I have a lot of this stuff written down. When on Steam, the Steam input configurator screen uses in-game actions. I need to have the Steam input. I don't even know what this thing is. Steam input configurator show in-game actions. Right guidance on how I'm supposed to do this. I might have seen this before, but I don't usually customize my controls through Steam. I usually customize it through the game. Yeah. Had a handful that had Google and Microsoft experiences, just terrifying. Why is that terrifying? Oh yeah, I'll supply the graphics. I'll supply graphics for this eventually. Let's look up. I think Kenny has a controller assets or controller icons. Yeah, input prompts, and I think they have pretty much every controller here. Yeah, yeah. I want to use these. These are CC0. I assume there's a way to pay for them though. I know they're free. I'm pretty sure he has a way to pay for them, and I'd like to do that. That's interesting. This only says Steam Deck and Steam Controller, but on his website, he also has Steam Frame there. So I don't know if this is not as updated. I guess whatever, I could just pay anyway, right? Just pay through here, $5 or something, and yeah, that's probably what I'll do. So I'll just point to this. I had to write myself a note to eventually pay follow-up work, pay for the Kenny assets, official site, itch page, add him to the credits. Where is the itch page? Here it is. And that links correctly. No, it doesn't. Wait, yes, that's right, isn't it? Yeah. Applying for a lower level SRE job at a university without level experience is spooky. Yeah. Which is scared of former Google employees. No, he's trying to keep an eye on me. He doesn't need a blindfold. He's just like, I want to make sure there are no sudden movements in my direction. So I move here, he's fine. But if I go to the other side, he's like, blood pressure rising. The graphics for all of this will come from this. All right, what else? We need a settings page that will allow overriding any buttons either through controller or keyboard. These rebindings should be saved to a local settings file in the current save slot. All right, what else? What else do we have? Change the current set of controller instructions in the game to use these glyphs, e.g. press A to jump and hold A to fire. In all such cases, the button used should be what's configured through Godot. Button used should be the source of truth for the button used should be what's configured in Godot, not what's listed in the string. Wait, so press A to jump I definitely had. Press A to jump, yeah. Hold A to fire, yep. And then there's also like press Y to place a bomb, yeah. Press Y to place a bomb. All right, how many of these other stupid things do I need to list here? My goodness. All right, make sure we satisfy what Steam would say we need. Yep, requirements from Steam. Should probably make an Obsidian node. I already have that. Steam input configurator. I already mentioned that. You publish an official configuration for controllers you support. Yeah, also write guidance on how I'm supposed to publish. What is it? An official configuration for the controllers I support. Start game in full screen. Make sure the game starts in full screen if the user is running Steam Big Picture. To determine if the build ran from itch or Steam, consult. Does that get has feature? Yeah. And this Steam. Just a mess of people since it's a broken tutorial. Well, I kind of want to do something like that. I just don't want Valve to be like, oh, your game doesn't pass muster now because you messed this up, when really it's kind of just a joke. Yeah. All right, start the game in full screen. Yep, okay, good. We need to automatically pause the game if a controller is disconnected. Yep. Automatically pause the game if a controller is the current, was the last used meaningful input device and it's disconnected. Probably need to support keyboard glyphs. Add a settings page that lets you manually override the glyphs. I think I need to allow the player to manually override which set of glyphs are shown. When the player is using keyboard, like to show this, change the current set of controller instructions. These would probably be dynamic, and then they would. The glyphs should also update in real time if the player changes the settings for which controller's glyphs should be displayed. They switch from an Xbox controller to PlayStation. Well, no, they switch from the Xbox controller glyphs to PlayStations. Yeah. Add a settings page. Maybe a good idea to tackle rebindable controls. I think we said that. Yep. Need a custom component for this. Figure out how best to render glyphs from within a message or button. Yeah. E.g., we could have a custom component, could use a flow container, etc. We may want string placeholders to represent glyphs within a label. Analyze these and figure out the best path forward. Okay, other languages may put a glyph in a different spot. Yeah. Glyphs within strings should accommodate localization. Press A to jump works in English, but the A part of that string may appear, or like the controller glyph may need to be rearranged in other languages. Okay, what else do we have? Allow for customizing controls. Need to change the glyph based on what keys bound to what. Best visual solution is query a text server. We could query text server, etc. Yeah, we need to hide the mouse cursor when you use the gamepad. Okay, we could just use fonts and have, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I will say that. I do not want to use custom fonts with controller glyphs in them though. Text on the platform as a controller glyphs. The farming game mentions it. All right. Wow. What a prompt. All right. So allow writing to this. Yes. And in fact, allow whenever because that's a totally safe file. Allow Godot to open his rendering window briefly so I can visually verify the new. Yeah. Allow this. Why not just a jump? That way it's just the verb and the placement doesn't really matter. It might not always work. Like we might want to put it in a sentence at some point. Man, it's just going to keep asking me about this stuff. All right, I got to take a break pretty soon. How are we doing on usage here? 52%. It's resetting tomorrow, so if I don't get all this done, I'll just use all my quota tomorrow too. Although tomorrow's super busy already. We have 3 sets of plans. Too much going on in life. All right, I got to take a break. So yeah, let's kick this off. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Okay, I did not realize that I don't know, it doesn't matter. Yeah, when Godot is running and then it crashes, I think it shows a dialogue back on the original monitor. Close the game. I gotta just stop those things from showing up altogether. I should probably write myself a note. Let's write it over here. Prevent the Godot stopped working Mac OS dialogues from appearing. They happen super often and they're not very helpful. Okay. Where is the home button that I configured? Left fingertip home. Okay, yeah. All right. So we got a whole bunch of stuff listed here. Add to each existing Steam target. Custom features. Add these targets. Append them to release default targets. For export presets CFG, duplicate both the preset and complete .options section. And then modified all this. So it should have modified Skeleseller automatically. Go burrito. Yeah, it did. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so we got to check this in. So, oh boy. All right, so go burrito changes. Waiting on the save slots to be done. And then have it make the changes directly in the stuck in a broken tutorial repo. Commit the Skeleseller changes. Yeah, that's the one I always ignore. Yeah. Diving into source material and figuring out the options. Yeah, I think for a lot of game dev, what I think things comes down to is like, what's the likelihood that someone wants a particular thing? And then what's the impact of that thing? So for example, controller rebinding. Controller rebinding might be, I'm just going to make a number, like 30% of players want it, but it's super important for those players. So like you have to do this, right? But there might be something like, I don't know, like dynamic audio leveling or something. I'm not sure. Maybe it's like 3% of players want it. And it's not crazy important. Something like that. I'm just making something. I don't even know what this would mean. I think when you're making sort of like proper business software, I think those edge cases can matter a lot more. Because like if you make a feature, it's not just for fun, it's for the sake of some enterprise customer being able to use your feature. All right, so this is Skeleseller. We can close that. So yeah, this got done. This should probably be close to done. Yeah, 5 out of 5. So I can't really test this just yet. I'm waiting on the save slot stuff. I mean, we could test some of it, I guess. Oh, and I need to check in the Go Burrito stuff too. Commit the changes in Go Burrito. What is this doing? Don't care about that. And honestly, what we should probably try is like, we should make sure that we can still get achievements when we publish the Steam version of Skeleseller. Man, this has been crazy. So this wasn't too bad. Yeah. So we're really just waiting on the save slot thing. And what is it doing right now? Still modifying some code. Yeah. This will mark, well, the end of today. Will mark the end of the first week of the new stabilization phase. And I said I want to spend at least 2 weeks. This list has blown out of control, though. Like we just had so much stuff here. But yeah, add portraits to dialogue. This. We said that I should do this. I just need to modify every piece of art. Maybe I can make a tool to make this easier. It would, or maybe I can just load 2 files into different layers via the command line. Automating tests, speed up game builds, make merch. We pretty much did this. Set up domains. I still need to set up email and everything. Make the title screen look better. Add copyright to this. Spoken dialogue, Steam page stuff. Save slots. Do we want some tool for testing on Steam Deck? I don't want to go through Steam every time. Yeah, I don't want to go through Steam every time. So ideally, I could just... I don't even know what I would do. Yeah, I don't know what I would do. Download something? Maybe I make a downloader for the Steam Deck. I have to look at what I did for Skeleseller for that. Set up save slots. When you go to quit the game, it should say how many minutes have passed since the last save point. Right in the dialogue. Oh, keep track of how long you spend in each sub game. Oh, nice. I had forgotten about this. I should definitely do that. Time played, rendering the character, title of the sub game, how many diamonds you've collected. Yeah, this I can delete. This other stuff we should probably do at some point. Add loading screens, tech debt stuff. Yeah, honestly, we're not in bad shape. One of the things I find so daunting about this is a lot of these stabilization tasks that I have they're like one-off tasks for now, but I will make more games in the future. And if I made, let's say, like 2 games per year, I would want to make these faster across games as well. So it's like save slots. Yeah, you need some custom code for your game, but should I be making like a save slot library? Does that even make sense? I don't know. Yeah. Torn on this stuff. All right, allow it to run this command. What's it doing? Deleting a bunch of stuff in private. That's fine. Although I don't even know why it has to delete it. It's in temp. So like, who cares? But yeah, there's no problem with this. All right, what are we at in terms of usage? 47%. It's fine if this drains down to 0 today. I just like tracking how it goes down over time. Still implementing save slot. It should be almost done. If it's deleting a bunch of files, I would expect it to be almost done. And it is just modifying this all locally, so I could just try running this right now too. It modified translations in here. Save slots, new game, cancel, okay. Yeah, that's all good. Wow. Oh, nice, it's done. Okay, let's go try it out. Let's take a look. So I do not have any save slots. Let's full screen this. So I go to start game, and yeah, it just puts me right onto this screen where we customize a character to have some like really obvious hair color. Is there a way we can do this in order? Yeah, let's do red for the first one because it's all the way on the left. And we can darken it a little bit. So red, we start this. Now I think it already just made a save file, but I am not totally sure. So I guess let's go to the title screen and click start game. Oh, neat, look at that. Yeah, so this looks terrible. And the hair for some reason has this like gray border around it. I think it's just using the wrong texture filter, but I need to look into that. Okay, so let's say we hold to delete this. Oh, I see how that works. So I don't actually want to delete it. If I select this, it should put me in the platformer. Now let's say we get through this game. I go here, we speed this up. Okay, so now we're in the farming game. If I go to the title screen, it should start us at the farming game. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, now we start a new game. We customize this one to be green, because that's like the next color that we have here. Or yellowish green, doesn't matter. And now we go to the title screen. Now we have 2 save slots. Now we're gonna make a new game. Make this one cyan. Okay, the whole hold to delete thing, we gotta change the layout of this screen a little bit. But I do like that it shows the characters here. I think it's pretty cool. And then we'll make the final one pink. All right, so now new game is grayed out. Yeah, this works pretty well. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm just testing some different things. All right, so let's try deleting one of these. We'll delete slot 2, which had green hair. Oh, interesting. If you just hold this down, you'll delete them all. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, so that's got to be a change. Where is it? After implementation, yeah, here it is. So when deleting when you finish deleting a slot, it shouldn't. You're still holding and you're still holding the button. It shouldn't start to delete another slot. It should require you to release the button first. Yeah, the UI looks pretty bad. I'm not very concerned about that. It's passable for right now. And the way we could make it a lot better with almost no effort is just get rid of the whole delete thing that's beneath it. Just looks weird. The playtime and last played. You could just shrink the font size on this. I also think I want to show you placeholders. I don't know. Doesn't matter. So slot 3 and slot 4 show up. It's kind of funny that these don't say slot 1 and slot 2. But now if we go to a new game and we pick whatever this, let's just randomize everything. There. This will be slot 1 now. Yeah. And if I make another new game, it'll be slot 2. Again, these are things that it's not really how I'd probably expect this to work, but it's close enough. Yeah, there we go. I don't think we should have an explicit cancel button then. Okay, so here's what I think in terms of UI that we should do. Get rid of the cancel button and just show a controller glyph. And show controller glyphs with like, what am I pressing? X, I guess. X or hold X, delete, save slot, and B, return to title screen. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Let's look through all the code. This is the farming game that we're starting with. Enter architect realm after checkpoint and enter without checkpoint. So yeah, when we cheat, we got to change this. Save system persist checkpoint async is not null. What is this? We set this. This is strange. Where do we set this? In main. So the odds of this ever not being set are pretty much nothing. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much nothing. If it is null, though, we have a gigantic problem here. In fact, probably, I'd probably make a note to change this. Right, we don't ever set this to null afterward? No, yeah, we don't. Okay. So some small changes. Rather than allowing this to be null and checking for it being null everywhere. How do I say this? Or should I just make this change myself? Like, I think I want a function that will call an underlying function we have here. What is this, though? Was paused. We pause so that we can save? I guess that's important. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Oh, this is for the sake of showing the error screen. Never mind, that's fine. Although I don't think I want this code to be here. Yeah, error interstitial should probably have something that adds this for us. Error interstitial should have a static create function that we use from main.cs so that we can reduce the amount of error related, or like, yeah, interstitial related code in main.cs. All right, I still have not actually talked about this though. So this is what we pass into save system. And then whenever we call this, which is probably in many different games, we have to check for whether it's null. Interesting. Okay. The farming game has something special here. And it's this, which is only ever called from that. Yeah. Checking for, yeah, rather than allowing for it to be null and having callers call it directly, callers should instead call a function that is always set. And if the underlying persist checkpoint async is null, then it should throw an exception. This is for Skelos. Oh no, this is for Stuck in a Broken tutorial. Welcome in, Darts. Yeah, I've been working on this new game now for about 4 months. I've made quite a lot of progress, and I've just did the 5th playtest last night for checkpoint 2, which means I've done 10 total playtests now, 5 per checkpoint. And yeah, last night it was Kevin who played, and he gave me quite a lot of feedback that I think is really helpful. We got to address that at some point. In fact, that's something I should probably write down for Monday's list, or maybe Tuesday morning. Address Kevin's playtest feedback. But all in all, he said the game was pretty fun. He likes how it's shaping up. Yeah, I think things are going pretty well here. Oh, and then I gotta run this. There's so much to do today. This is crazy. And then after, go burrito changes, run this through the AI. Oh man, it's already, oh my God, it's 11:21. Yeah, today is flying by so far. I need to review this code. Then we got to check in and do the other sets of steps. I might take a later lunch than normal just so that I can have AI running on the controller glyph stuff while I'm eating. Oh man. Okay, so cool. We have this written down now, right? Yeah, great. Let's keep looking through the rest of the code. I hope this isn't too terribly much to look through. This is fine. Whoops, I did not mean to type A's there. Farming, architect realm. Yeah, I like this continue point thing. That's pretty cool. All right, that's probably fine. We do need to test every continue point in the game. Maybe have some easier way of doing this. What do we have here? Save slot. So this is from the title screen. We're instantiating this in main though. Save slot service. Add child. Initialize. Persist checkpoint async is added there. Pause system needs to know about the save slots. I guess because I have a save and load button, but I don't actually use them. Stop tracking and flush. Flush settings and stop tracking. Yeah. So this flushes just local data, not any progression data. We stop tracking playtime during this. Typically during a pause screen. Okay. Anything else here? Flush settings and metadata. Whenever you quit, that's fine. Initialize this with the save slot. Okay, continue point, create continue point. Here it is. So this is okay, but I don't really want this code to live here. Is there anything that is non-static about this? Using the save system and eventually using the subgame host. But the subgame host is just to figure out once we have the game ID. And this modifies some save system stuff. Yeah, so create continue point should also be moved out of here. Should ideally be moved out of main as much as possible. The save system is what maybe it belongs in save system and it returns a subgame ID for main to be able to pass to the subgame host. Okay, well, there's that. So now how did the pause menu change? We get the save slots here for what? Oh, for the sake of changing settings. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So we have a continue point. Oh, God, this gets saved? That shouldn't get saved. I'm not actually certain. Let's go take a look at the save file. ... Stuck in a broken tutorial. Doesn't even match. What? What? Whoops. I'm confused. Where is this saving? Godot user directory. User on Mac OS is application data Godot app user data. Oh, it's in Godot. Why was Skeleseller where it was there then, huh? App user data stuck. Ah, great. Okay. So now save data is inside of here. Then development sounds good. Then we want to look at, what did I want? I guess I just want to look at all these files. Let's just do a tree here. Okay, so let's do cat local slot 1 settings. Whoops. What does that look like? Settings version 1 is muted true. Yeah, okay, that's cool. And what about the synchronized ones? Slot 1. All right, we got the whole palette, a continue point, the slot number, save version. That's all fine. Progression. We track pretty much all this stuff. Total play seconds, 7.338. And last checkpoint UTC. Yeah, this looks really good. Well. Now, we don't technically need this stuff here because I don't think we don't ever save with this being non-zero. I noticed that we persist Top-down shooters. What's it called? Top-down shooter save? Yeah. Inside. What was it? Local, no, synchronized, that one. Okay, so CD and inside, well, just inside the synchronized, inside the JSON file. Do we ever load that data? If I understand correctly, we don't allow saving during the top-down shooter. So that data should be extraneous, or like the data should not be persisted in the first place. We may need a comment in save system. Oh yeah. We definitely save this. In fact, actually, this is really interesting. It's nice to have all this stuff in one spot. Okay, let's keep going. So we looked through all of save system, I believe. Yep. All right, so now save slots, we are on the settings screen. This is all for when you change volume and stuff. This works. I don't like this style of doing things. I feel like we should have a single, yeah, change all the value change in settings screen so that it goes to a single function. We can't easily do that, can we? Maybe the slider changing should just know which slider changed. This is pretty minor. I'll write it down anyway. In settings screen.cs, we have several value change listeners. I think the volume sliders should emit their own slider ID so that we can have a, so we can do something like this. Slider change, on slider change. Hey Vibepuff, how you doing? Any slider. And not introduce lambdas. All right, let's keep going. We're making pretty good progress here, actually. Yeah, this looks good. Volume change. Yep, this looks fine too. This reminds me though, so we left off at settings screen. I gotta remember that. We have the save slot service. I think I want some more comments in here. Add more comments to save slot service.cs where things may not be clear in the future. Don't go overboard with this. Moved to a new place. Setting up as a pain, but overall good. How are you? Saw you updated branding and such. Oh, nice new place. Yeah. It's just, I said this before. I always find this exciting for people. It's just, it's like a new year. Going from December to January, it's just one day, right? It's not really such a big deal, but the year increments and it feels like a bigger deal. It's like a fresh start. So yeah, you move to a new place. You presumably could do all the same stuff you could do in your old place. Maybe it's bigger, maybe it's better, whatever. But like, it feels significant. So yeah, congrats. I'm doing really well. I have been quite busy, both in my personal life and doing work stuff. And I just like in the last week, yeah, I think, well, 8 days. In the last 8 days, we did 5 playtests. Now, 5 doesn't sound all that significant, but the average playtime was probably about 80 minutes. And then we would chat about stuff for whatever, like 20, 20 minutes or something. So it's like I spent 500 minutes on top of what I was doing on the stream, going through all this, like writing notes and trying to process what's best to do for the game and everything. This is quite a lot of extra time spent. And I'm not saying I work like a ludicrous number of hours every week to begin with. So it's not like, well, I work 60 and now I work 90 or something. It's like I work for whatever, 35 and now I worked for 40 something. But it feels like a lot. But this has been really, really valuable. In fact, I'm still kind of shaping how I feel about playtests. So definite conclusions that I have, and conclusions I think probably every game dev should probably have, is like playtests are incredibly valuable. There comes a point where you stop getting value in a particular phase of development. Doing one playtest, super important. Doing 5 playtests, almost certainly very important. Doing 500 playtests, probably not very important. So like, where do you draw the line? And I think it's once you start getting similar feedback from everybody. I watched so many people play Skeleseller that I know what to expect at almost any given point. I've seen all the different ways people can get confused. I've seen all the ways that they laugh at the game or that they find things fun, what features delight them. It's rare that I would see someone do something totally unique after the number of videos I've watched. So it's eventually going to get to that point with this game. What's nice about this, at least, is that there's so many different sub games that I get to witness a lot of variety. Now, there's going to be a problem eventually. Like, suppose we have 5 hours worth of gameplay. I'll eventually need a new player to go through all of it. And I don't want to watch 5 hours in real time. I'd want them to record it ahead of time. I can skim through. I can like double speed something. And I got to find those new players at some point. And yeah. Finally living alone. Move out of parents' place. That feels great. SF places are super tiny. Well, congrats. Yeah. 5 playtests is huge. Our playtests are usually people you know. Yeah, I'm keeping it as private playtests for now. So it's all been friends and family. Trying to think if there's anyone who does not fit that category. No, I don't think there were any like strangers or yeah. I will probably, even for checkpoint 3, probably still keep it private. And at some point we're going to make a demo on Steam. But yeah, you mentioned working on branding and everything. I got merch online. I haven't ordered anything yet. I'm not actually certain that I'm super happy with it because it, at least with the zip hoodie, it's like slightly off center, I think. And then I got a website online. I mean, there's nothing to this. It's just literally 3 links. That's it. And I've got part of the Steam page, but I haven't finished it. Hey, Space, why do you like building games? I think it's a nice expression of creativity in many different realms. So at one point, I would have said there was some coding creativity involved. I don't really feel like I'm doing that anymore. I feel like I'm leaving that to AI. But there's still the game design. There is the just general kind of direction of things. There's art and UX. There's music. There's sound. And the goal of almost every game is like make the player have fun or make them laugh or like some lighthearted, unless you're making a horror game, and that's still kind of to have fun, but it's fun in a scary way. But in general, it's like, yeah, just make the player have fun. And I like that as a goal. You know, it's like some people might like developing software in general and they might not have any reservations about how it's used. So maybe there's some like environmentally unsound way of using it, or it's like war software or something. But like, there's almost no harm that comes from the kinds of games I make. If I were making casino games or something, I could argue, yeah, there's probably harm coming from it. But I'm not making a game that someone's like losing their life. They're spending 4,000 hours playing. They're, you know, spending all their money. It's like, hey, you're spending it one time. You're playing for a few hours. You're having fun. So yeah, it allows me to be creative. And the goal is something that's pretty, you know, innocuous and cool. If you ever open it up to others, let me know if I can help. I'm packed for the next few weeks, but post-August schedule opens up. Yeah, I'll write this down for sure. Yeah. It's over here. The play testing up to others, yeah. If you aren't having fun managing some cloud resources, what's even the point? Well, yeah, so I would say that's probably the second most fun application of software is managing cloud resources. but the games are still a little, just barely edged out. All right, so we left off here. So persist checkpoint. Yep. What is this? That's fine. Yeah, so this doesn't probably need to exist anymore. Yeah. I keep pressing the wrong key. Although, hang on a second. I have some messages on. Whoa. We left her arm out. Oh, man. Quickie Joe does some great artwork. I don't. Okay, I'll need to respond to this stuff later. Let me just mark this on red for right now. But he made a fave icon sort of graphic, and I think this is very cute. I do have a tiny change I want to have made to this though. I was picturing for the fave icon that she would be. Hang on, first, what's on my clipboard here? Persist checkpoint. Yeah, I gotta talk about this at some point. For the where did that just go? This. I was thinking that we would cut the graphic off so that it would look like. Can I do this? So it looked like this almost. So now imagine there's blank space on the right, which I can't really simulate here. But yeah, imagine there's blank space on the right. So it looks like she's like peering out from the side of the fave icon. I think that'd be pretty cool. Hey, Ramy. Yeah, everything's fine. Did I make something sound not fine? Well, Ramy, you are the person though who said that when you start playing a game, you turn off the music pretty much immediately, right? Then persist checkpoint and subgame host probably doesn't need to exist. Okay. I usually lower music volume. Yeah, I can understand lowering the volume, but just turning it off immediately, especially if you haven't really played the game to figure out if you like the music. Yeah, that's a little bit crazy to me. Sorry, I got to get a hoodie. We have the AC set to full blast right now. I should really turn that down a little bit. Oh yeah, that deletion thing. I got to write that down too. Where is that? When you finish deleting a slot, while you're still holding the deletion button, the game shouldn't start to delete another slot. It should require you to release the button first. Yep. Blue screen the current game logo. I just want to be a floating logo. Just become a ping tuber. All right, yeah. Okay, back to code. Start game press. Discover slots. What does this do? This actually reads through on disk. Okay, that's fine. Open character customization. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is good. We have quite a lot of code down here, though. What is this for? Open save slot screen. That's fine. Onload slot requested. Also fine, I'd say. Start platformer. Save slot screen, return to title. Show error. Did I already write this down? That I don't want this happening here? I think I did. But I think this happens from main.cs as well, doesn't it? Yeah, title screen. All right, so where's that? title screen.cs has show error with quite a lot of code. Perhaps we can refactor that too. Hey, CC17R, wearing my hoodie as well. 67 in the office. Yeah, 67's a little, a little cold. Depends on the game. Listened through the tracks a couple times and turned it off, mostly because I played it more idle on second monitor. Yeah, I see. Shooters. I can't even remember if there's music in the finals other than on the title screen and everything. I think during gameplay there is not. There's a little jingle when the game's about to end, but yeah. But I kind of like their title screen music. Your character is the game's main character. Imagine doing a whole game dev session as Skeleseller. Yeah, I mean, look, someday, if it's not already today, it'll be very possible with AI to just be like, hey, here's a sprite. Go make a 3D model of this and make it look like I'm talking and hook up all the right animations. And it might look a little janky, but like, might do a pretty good job. Really depends how much the music changes. RPGs usually different track per zone. Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. How has AI changed the way you develop? It's totally changed it. I think that before I used to care about writing code efficiently because it was the only way to make software. Well, because coding was the only way to make software. Now I feel like AI is much faster than I am, and the quality is fine as long as I'm reviewing it. There are a lot of other little things that have happened. So other like nice benefits. Low priority tasks are now doable instead of just dropping them. There are a lot of tasks for Skeleseller, for example, that I would have liked to have done. They would have taken maybe an hour or two, and I just couldn't justify putting in, 40 hours worth of these low priority tasks. But now, instead of taking 40 hours, they might take 5 hours, and getting 40 different tasks done in 5 hours that will benefit some people is pretty nice. And I think it is, there's no guilt around nitpicking AI. So like if a feature isn't done exactly how I want it to do and I delegated to a human, I would be like, all right, well, we got it close enough. That's pretty good. Maybe we'll come back to it in the future. But if AI doesn't do something correctly and I'm like, no, we need to get this perfect right now, like I'll just have it redo it. And like the AI doesn't care, it doesn't have emotions. So yeah, there's some other things along these lines. I'm probably not thinking of everything right now, but benefits that I think would be tough to give up if I were to go back to manually coding everything. Are you concerned about some of the overreaction AI, especially in gaming? Not as much, because I had some like negative reviews on Skeleseller, and then I like elevated the AI disclosure so that it's right there on the page, and now there have not been any negative reviews anymore. So if people care about AI and they don't want to play my game as a result, totally fine. If they care about AI, don't want to play my game, buy the game, leave a negative review, even though they could have known from the very beginning that like, hey, this uses AI, that is not fine. So I'm totally cool if a bunch of people are like, for whatever reason, I'm not going to play your game. That's fine. I just don't like when people buy the game and leave a negative review. Because like, I think currently there's only one review that I think is actually totally worthless on my Steam page. And it's someone who seems to have a personal problem with me. Like it does not have anything to do with the game. And they were sort of bad mouthing the game before they bought it, then bought it and played for 10 minutes and refunded it so that they could leave a negative review. And it's like, look, like you don't have to like me, you don't have to like the game, but to buy the game so you can leave a negative review and then refund it after 10 minutes is like, it's just kind of petty, I think. But hey, this is gaming. I mean, you have people with all sorts of different emotional baggage. I think it's probably just someone who's not like happy with their life or something. And yeah. All right, so why do we save this? This is for the sake of persisting it to disk or what? Because these were added for some reason. Yes, it was for capture progression. I don't know if we need any of this. And then we restore it. Yeah, I don't know if we need any of this. And this is all inside save system. Load upgrade counts. Where is this? Probably get rid of all of the changes to top-down shooter upgrade stats. Oh, the other thing I was going to comment on there, concern about the overreaction. I read something online that people said it's like maybe 10% of gamers actually care. And by this, it's like, you know, someone makes a decision, hey, we're going to start charging double for whatever, Steam games. I don't know. The price of Steam games is going to go by 2x. There are going to be a bunch of people who are going to complain about it, but then how many of those people are still just going to go buy Steam games anyway for the 2x price? And a ton of them will. So the ones who actually care are apparently about 10%. They're the vocal ones who are like, hey, I don't want this, and they actually won't buy games that use AI. But a lot of other people are like, oh, I'm anti-AI, and then they'll just still do everything using AI anyway. Hey, Phil. A lot easier to deal with when your employees are AI agents. Yeah. There's no politics. There's no guilt around how many hours they've worked, that sort of thing. And to be fair, there's a downside to that too. Like working with people, I think it's easier to be motivated and to stay motivated. Working with AI, it's easier to feel like there's a mountain of work that you need to get through, but that the AI isn't like hyping you up. And even if you told it, hey, increase sycophancy 150%, it's like, you know that it's fake. Petty people on the internet. Hey, Mr. Ponson. Makes you wonder how some people function in society. Oh man, so okay, there's kind of a joke with my friend group here at this point, but when I play multiplayer games, I am very quick to block people. So if anyone's being toxic, if they ever say like their negativity is fine. If someone's like, hey, we could have done better, or we played poorly or something, it's like, that's okay. When people start just directly like swearing or using slurs, or they're just like ultra negative almost, then yeah, I block them. And yeah, I've been playing the finals, and my block list is probably now like 50 plus people. I know that's not crazy, but that's like 50 people that I think probably should not be talking in the game. But every once in a while, and I get such a kick out of this, every once in a while I'll be in a game and someone else says a chat message to someone that I'm like, what are they talking about? And I go look at the social menu and it's like, oh, they're talking to someone I already blocked in a prior game. And like, there's a reason why I blocked that person. And now it's being shown through other people chatting with that person. I find that hilarious. Has it made you bolder with the things you try or build? I don't know about bolder. Yeah. I don't really think so. But like I said, there are certain tasks, like the low priority tasks. There was a problem in Skeleseller where we needed to highlight a button, and I just never coded it. So people still figured it out. They still played the game, but I just never did it. But now I would probably do it. So I don't think I'm bolder in doing that. I think I'm just managing my time differently. Like I don't think courage or scope has something to do with it exactly. Based on my experience in Terraria. It doesn't hurt other people though, right? I'm pretty sure it doesn't in Terraria. They show you when your reports succeed. Oh, I'm not reporting these players. Well, I do report them sometimes if they do things that are like incredibly extreme. But I would never report someone for just being negative in a game. Hey, Zero. How about as a junior SWE? How do you think AI affects us in terms of growing? I like manually coding since it feels like I'm doing something. So this is really tough because I can't speak from experience here. Like I learned coding and software dev when there was no AI. So like getting those skills and now using them to review, I think is pretty smooth. Like I can still do things manually if I want to. If I didn't have those skills though, I would probably be tempted to use AI more. It's almost like an easy button that you press and you just get something out of it. And I think another consideration is for small software projects, like having AI own the entire thing is actually not too crazy. I think it's a little bit crazier for large software projects. Like let's say all you were doing is you're making some like, I need to download receipts and I need to sum up the totals on all of them. It's like, okay, this is a pretty small tool. You can validate it yourself with the first, 100 or 200 receipts that it gets. And if it's doing a good job, you could be like, all right, I'm just going to rely on the software now. You don't necessarily need to read a line of code of it. And like, if you're just making this for yourself to do something, that could be fine. I have a few tools like that. This is a tool that I vibe coded to just set stream titles and descriptions. I still type in the title and description, but then I just click update Twitch and create YouTube stream, and it makes them. This, I really have not looked at any of the code because it does what I needed to do, and I'm not hosting this live. It's on my local machine. So there's no real security issues. There's no problem with using this. And I've been using it pretty much every single day. Like, I don't know when I started exactly, but I do roughly 2 streams on most days. And that means I probably used it like 130 times, maybe 110 times, something like that. But yeah, for learning, I think it's like, make sure whatever your goal is that you're not bypassing that goal. So if your goal is to learn, having AI complete a project for you is probably bypassing your goal. This is all fine. Yeah. I need to check the error scenario too. Where do I have that? Yeah, here, test every continue point, testing, and test what happens if we see the error interstitial. It really shouldn't show up for players, but they might see it eventually. All right, error interstitial. This is just for the sake of saving. This is a very rough UI just for the sake of showing an error. A save related error. Most players should never see this. All right, what else do we have? Then the scene itself, I mean, this is going to be pretty basic, right? Interstitial. It should just be like a line of text and a button, right? That is not what I meant to click. It is a line of text and a button. Wow, who could have thought? All right, done. Save slot model. Continue point is in orange. Why? Add a member so that it has a 0 value. It's just a name of none. Yeah, sure. I'll tell the AI to do this. So I think it's easy enough to do, but add a none equals 0 to continue point. This is all fine. Is this inside of a save? Yep, it is. Nice. Okay. I don't have any problems with this. I don't think some of this stuff is needed though, but we'll eventually probably get rid of that. Like your corn keyboard. Thanks. Yeah. I like it a lot too. I've been talking about this a lot, but I just got a new mouse like 3 days ago. And cat hair on it. It's my first wireless mouse in like forever, but it's got a lot of cool features. And one of them, if I put this just on my desk so you can see the mouse view here, but in order to relocate windows or maximize them, I hold this button. So it's like kind of where your finger already rests, and then just move the mouse to the side. So now I can move this around. I can move it up to maximize it and then put it back on my other monitor. And it's just super easy. Same thing with like scrolling. I can just hold the left knuckle button down and now I can scroll really fast. So yeah, there's a lot of neat stuff this can do. It's kind of hard to give a succinct demo of it because it's a lot of like finger movement on a black mouse, which is hard to see. Hey, Sean. Bought an extra one a while back, so I'm good for a while. I gotta say, this is pretty nice as a G600 replacement. So it is a lot to get used to, but one of the things that's cool about it is you can bind any button however you want. So if I go to here, one of those things I just showed is clicking this. Like this is, so I hold this button down and now it says mouse movement left for 400 units, do this. Mouse movement right, do this. And you can customize this for practically anything. So like I have when I press this button and then this button, it's a backspace. So if I type like hi, and then press this and this, it's backspace. But if I do it in the opposite order, it's enter, which for some reason isn't working. Huh, why isn't that working? Right finger to press enter. Oh, now it's working. Maybe it's just not working when I do it like this. Yeah, weird. I need the mouse on the desk. Wait, no, something is definitely wrong here. Huh, strange. Yeah, I think it's getting into some state that's not, I don't know what's happening there. We have 12 thumb buttons. Yeah. Yeah. But this is actually probably a little bit more ergonomic. One of the things I was worried about is that you have to like claw your thumb to press all the thumb buttons. And it's probably not good for the tendon right here. But I don't know that for sure. I've been wanting a few extra ones for games. Yeah, this is pretty good. The side buttons are like very clicky though. I don't know if you can hear this. But the other ones are nice. Also, they have 5 pressure sensitive ones. So you could make it so that when you press one of these, like really, when you deep click, yeah, you could have like 100% force pressed, do something, and at 40% do something else. It's not great. I probably wouldn't do that for a lot of these. But yeah, actually that could be kind of nice for profile switching. Like you never press it with 100% force. So this could be when you do press it with 100% force to do something different. Or make left click, double click when you do that. Anyway, this looks fine. We are making our way through this. It is getting toward the end of this. Review the new mouse. Oh, just quickly talking about it. I really like it. Yeah, thank you for suggesting it, Matt. Yeah. Like, I think this has replaced the G600 for me. Also, it is kind of nice having a wireless device on my desk now. I think the keyboard is the next thing to remove the wire, and it's just this one. And you can't really, I mean, even with wireless devices, you can't 100% remove the wires because you need to charge them at some point. So, like, you got to have an easy way to plug them in at some point. And for gaming, I'll probably still have this wired. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. All right, so this is the UI. I'm actually not too concerned about reviewing the UI code, as long as nothing stands out as being like especially stupid here. Yeah, and this is just a save slot screen, so even if it was stupid, it can't be that bad. Yeah, I think this is fine. There's a sub viewport container here, though. I don't know about that. That seems stupid to me. Yeah, that seems very stupid to me. We don't do that on the character customization screen, do we? We do. Hmm. Okay, well, I guess that's fine then. But something's wrong about this. Save slot. We don't have the individual save slot here because it's all added through the sub viewport. Viewport, create preview. Stretch true. Texture. Texture filter. Nearest. Is this going to fix this? I don't actually know. Do I have it open still? I do have it open. Nice. Okay, so let's take a picture of this. Let's do that. And then let's go restart this whole thing. Quit. I want to paste this over here. So I think this looked bad. Yeah. It looks like it's using linear. And I just set it to nearest, so hopefully it looks better now. Hey, DJen. Unless you make the desk pad do wireless charging. I think that exists with some mice. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Although then I guess your cord is just in a different place. But I don't mind this. Also, the battery is at... Oh, something's wrong with this. Yeah, it shouldn't be showing me this. I think it didn't save my settings or something. Because it's currently showing me the battery, and I turned that off. Yeah, this should be set to blank. It's at 66% though. Yeah. All right, so is this fixed? I think so. There's something weird going on. No. This probably isn't fixed. Yeah, that. What is that? Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. God. Can I drag this off the screen? What's going on here? Huh, I can't drag this. It's weird. I can drag it once it's on my other monitor. Yeah, this definitely does look different. I think something is still going wrong where this is not as crisp as it could be. So let me hold the delete button here. And we'll make a new game. Yeah, this looks fine. There's still something wrong. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. There's still something wrong with a save slot screen. Huh, yeah. I think mine's set to 1500. I could probably turn that down too. No, polling rate is 1000. Maybe lower it to 500. They said just turning off the OLED is probably the best thing you can do though. But yeah. All right, so something is wrong with the rendering of this. Where did I write this down? I don't know. I don't even know how to indicate this though. It looks like it was fine on the... Oh, you know what? How about this? When we're on a debug build, only require 1 second. Only require holding the delete slot button for 1 second, not 3. Don't we have a debug flags or something? Is debug? When this is true. All right, so something's wrong with the rendering of this. When rendering the character preview for the save slot, the graphics aren't rendering crisply. I've attached an image. You can see, yeah, showing this issue. All right, what else? So we are on, this is main. I don't need this. This I don't care about. Save slot service. I think we've looked through at this point. No, I haven't looked through everything here. Start playtime segment and capture should count. Okay. Yeah, this thing about checking paused all the time, I think is a marshaled call into native code. Yep, it is. Yeah, so that ideally would not look this way. And given that this happens every single frame, and not even every single, it's every single rendered frame. Why is this not physics process? Yeah, so save slot service, we got to change a little bit. Save slot service should run what is currently in process in physics process instead, so that it doesn't run as often. Also, well, this is a micro optimization, but I think it's okay to do this now. Also, it's not even difficult to do. Shouldn't be checked every frame since it requires a native call into the engine. We should cache the pause state or listen for it to change. I actually don't know what my polling was set to on my old mouse, but I tried playing the finals the other night on this new mouse and I did not do as well. I think part of it is just getting used to this new stuff. I'm hoping the mouse doesn't hold me back for like weeks or something. Days, that's okay. Resolve distribution platform. Discover slots. This is save slots service. Yeah. Lana, thanks for the raid. Welcome in, everyone. Unfortunately, somewhat bad timing because I am probably about to go get lunch pretty soon. So if you want me to redirect to someone else when I do go get lunch, do let me know. But yeah, welcome in. Hey, owner. Hey, pool shot. Go on deeper. I don't want to react to run. No, I have a different secret name that I only use there. And hey, staff. And 8. Welcome, everybody. Let me give a shout out to Lana for those who don't already know. She's been working on her game Strain for many years now. I'm guessing it's getting closer to release. Didn't know we were rating out. Yeah, I'll show my game that I've been working on for a little bit now. It's been about 4 months. I released my last game. It's called Skeleseller. We stopped working on that. I am not going back to that. It's done. It's out. This new game is called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. And let me turn on the... There we go. I've just added in save slots, so this UI looks pretty bad. But let's just click new game anyway. So you start by customizing your character. We can change some colors here. I'll just change this randomly. We'll get less ogre skin going on though, and just change the shirt to something like reddish. Fine, I'll just change it manually. There. Okay. So you are going between different broken games, and they're in the tutorials for all these games pretty much. Snooze this ad. So you got some really basic controls. This is the first game that's a platformer. You can dash. You can actually dash and then jump and then dash again. So you can move pretty quickly. And then you get to this segment. Try to collect the diamonds in one go. This is an impossible task in this game. And you fall through the terrain. We're going to make this look even glitchier in the future. But this is your first taste of that this is a broken game. And the tutorial was pretty obvious here. But now you're in this spooky place and you're going through this and trying to figure out what's going on. And some story beats play out and you eventually work your way into other games. So this is the latest one that we made. This starts out kind of like a Zelda game. And then you get to, you get further in the dungeon. And I'm gonna just kind of skip ahead here. We get bombs. And you go and try to bomb the wall. But instead of just blowing up the wall like you'd expect, you actually blow up everything. And most players at this point, it's kind of funny to see in the playtest, they like run over to here being like, whoa, I didn't want that to happen. But yeah, you eventually fall and it kind of changes game styles now into this endless runner kind of game. So now it's all about moving fast, dodging enemies, only killing stuff when it's important. You can still get coins here. They control your speed. And you eventually find treasure chests with power-ups. We got the coin magnet, so I can just stand here and get coins if we want. Yeah. Got the color modulation. Yep. Wiki Joe just produced that artwork. It's looking really good. And if we stand here for long enough, which might not work because we might fall first. Oops, I just moved anyway. Drat. Okay, let's try it here. So yeah, if we stand here for long enough, you'll see her take her hood off. Yeah. And just put it back on. So we have a standby animation. The goat indeed. It's looking great. Yeah. So yeah, I am very excited about this game. We also put a really quick website up yesterday. There's nothing on here because there's no Steam page to link to yet. But I have been working on the Steam page. We'll have that probably in the next like couple weeks. Yeah, very excited. So we are just adding save slots to the game now in preparation for controller glyphs. And we are almost done reviewing this code. Did I finish anything else here? Oh, also, I don't know if I said hi, Boolean, but hi. Yeah, so welcome in, everyone. We are not going to be streaming for too much longer. I have to get lunch pretty soon. This OS has feature should probably be in one specific spot. Also, it is weird that we store this here because we can pass in a different has feature. Oh, for the sake of testing. Wow. We have tests now. This actually gets checked in here. Wow. Huh. Maybe that's why we had persist whatever. No, it's not why. Okay, so I guess update the README to talk about how to run the tests. Don't be too verbose about this. What else? What else? So then we have this. So Steam Cloud.md. Yeah, I'm not going to look through this now. These are my instructions for the future. And where did I write that down? Yeah. It's steamcloud.md. Okay. Oh my goodness. So yeah, tons and tons of stuff left to do. Let's go check this stuff in. Add save slots. This is the like raw code from AI with some minor touch-ups. With my own minor touch-ups. I want to run an improvement pass after committing once. All right, so here are all the changes I wanted to make. Hey, Pandar. It's going pretty well. It's been a solid, really couple of months, I guess I'd say. We have 5 sub games in Stuck in a Broken Tutorial now. The average play time across all of them has been probably about 80 minutes. I haven't like fully measured. I just knew like Kevin played yesterday. I think he played for an hour and 25 minutes or something. And some other people played for like 60 or 90. And so yeah, it's probably about 80 minutes. And this is after 4 months of dev work. So the goal is to get north of 3 hours. If we get to like 5 hours, I think it's pretty reasonable. I think going to 10 would probably be really, really difficult. But yeah, you can approximate from here like how many more months we'd have to work to get to any of these numbers. So yeah, not going to be the easiest game to make. You know, at some point, an ad's about to start in like 7 seconds, and I'm not going to say anything important, so if you missed this, it's not worth going back to. But I'm envious of people who work on certain styles of games. So like some properties that I kind of want out of a future game is a game that I can add on like features or content for a very long time. So for example, Risk of Rain 2, there have been, I don't know, like 5 DLCs or something like that. And there are lots of games in this kind of vein. Terraria is another one of them. Stardew Valley kept getting new updates. And what else? Oh yeah, a game without a million systems in it. Like Slay the Spire 2 is a card game, and it's got a bunch of different mechanics, but in general, it's got like get cards, play cards, and choose where you're going on the map. Maybe you could say the shop is another mechanic too, or another system. But like if they wanted to add more enemies, more cards, more relics, more whatever, you could just add that stuff on at the end. So yeah, these properties aren't really there with Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. I feel like we have to keep adding new games. We can't just add new content within a game. So after a month of development, it's like, all right, well, that might have worked out to 20 minutes of gameplay, and now we need to just start again. And yeah, adding features on at the end. We could always add more sub games, but there's got to be a story that plays out with them. And at some point, I will run out of story that I want to tell. Like I'll have told the full story that I had planned. And I guess it's kind of like what happened in Stardew Valley. They kept releasing updates, and they found a way to tack it on. But at some point, you got to consider the overall balance of your game and whether you've trivialized some systems by adding new things. Yeah. Okay, well, this is running right now. I am going to go take my break because it's actually past lunchtime. And I think my wife is home and I want to eat lunch with her if I can, so I can't stay for too much longer. But I'll be back in about an hour, and I'm going to stream for another probably 2-3 hours and try to get as much of the controller glyph stuff done as we can. There have been a lot of work items that we started and have not been able to finish yet. And I think the most important one is all the Steam page stuff. And thanks, IPO. Yeah. Yeah, I've been pretty happy with today so far. So I'm gonna get going for now. I don't raid out at lunchtime because I'm gonna be back in like an hour anyway. But I hope some of you will return for that, and I hope you've been enjoying it. I will see you in about an hour. Goodbye, everyone.